Hello, everyone. Welcome, and hope you are happy to join us for another race in the BSKIT Combined Sprint Series. Today, I am joined by Ryan.
Hello. How you doing?
That is Ryan. He unfortunately got disqualified from the series. Would you like to inform the people how you did that?
Um, Pretty much. I'm a bit of an idiot and forgot to withdraw, so I'm commentating today,
I'm
which I would complain
happy.
about, but it's Bathurst.
I'm happy that you said that because otherwise I look like someone that would bully a kid, and now it's you bullying yourself. And of course, I am Vindict, or otherwise known as Jesse. Nobody knows me like that.
Yeah, that's pretty cringe.
I'm trying to, at least people are aware, just raising awareness of the fact that I do indeed have a real name, and you're allowed to use it, please. Anyway, welcome. This is the seventh round of the sprint series that we are doing. It's also the second to last round, and yeah, we're currently watching all the cars standing still. This is not a bug. They are simply, the drivers are listening to a driver's briefing hosted by Dick. Of course, as always, just those.
No, it's hosted by Steve actually this time.
Oh, this time is Steve.
Yeah,
All right. Dick has nothing to say, and
so it'll be about maybe like 10 minutes shorter. Steve's known for his short driver briefings. Just don't
yes,
crash, and that could be on your way.
we would strongly appreciate it if you did not crash. Just to keep the car with all four wheels on the tarmac. That is the black stuff in between the white lines. And
Don't
if
want
you
to be
do
asking
that,
for a lot though. In Bathurst,
and if you
easy
do,
to put in the walls.
you do make sure that two cars do not occupy the same space at the same time or attempt to, then we should all be good. It should be as simple as that sometimes. But are there any
Sadly.
special blue flag rules? I heard during the last 2 weeks that there were some talks about that, since top of the hill it can be quite hard to let people by. I'm not sure if that was a.
Not Not that I'm aware of. I believe Steve will be telling her right now, be sensible. Just don't do anything stupid. Don't go side by side for the dipper. Be sensible, but there's no official rule on you can't overtake. There is a possibility of red flag on the first lap, I believe, if there is a big crash on the dipper or the mountain. Then Steve has permission to call a red flag and sort stuff out because no one wants to see half the grid taken out due to some one person's mistake.
Yeah, so we may see a restart in that event.
Yep. So you might have to wait like 5 minutes, but if that does happen, stay with us. Because
Yeah,
you'll.
then we'll just have Ryan tell us his best jokes.
So let's hope we don't get a red flag.
It's good motivation for the drivers to keep it clean, because the driver that caused it will be insulted, and we will not apologize for it.
Yep.
To see
The driver's
Harry
on the.
pull out of the pits, indeed, because they finally got Steve to stop talking. Sure, the briefing was already done like 2 minutes in, but does Steve have cats? Might have been talking about his cat. I don't know.
Yeah, he does actually, doesn't
I knew that.
he?
All right. So,
Diego's at top right now. However, quite clear of P2 and P3 actually. Harry Spears is not doing, but where you'd want to be, I'd imagine, on first. But it's just practice. The track's still green, and it should be ramping up in quali, so we should be in for an interesting quali, I think.
yeah, well, I'm gonna have a look at the standings myself. Of course, I built the website, but I don't actually look at it. So for pro class, we got a. Is it fair to say like maybe a four-way battle? Maybe five if you squint. Maybe six if you squint even harder. Between Norbert Tamas and Harry Spears, that is 6 people in total. We've got less than 50 points. Now, the gap between, I'm doing some hardcore maths in my head, it's 46 points between Norbert and Harry. So that's maybe a bit big for Harry
It's
to make
possible,
up.
but it's very unlikely, I think, at this stage.
It requires a certain degree of luck, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
And also with all the other drivers ahead of him, Harry would basically have perfect 2 races and hope everyone else makes a bit of a mistake.
Well, the perfect 2 races, of course, he controls that himself, but it's not going to be enough. And then we've got Jorgis, who is 20 points ahead of him. We'll only need 26, I think. 26 points. It's much more doable. Still quite quite hard. See Harry practice pit entry and makes it maybe not the way he wants to go in the race, but better to mess it up now than in the race. They will all have to take one stop, so it's important to get this right.
Yeah,
Get
a lot
one
of people
shot.
always actually forget to actually practice the pit entry, especially when people are too worried about getting the setup right. You know, making sure you can actually drive the rest of the circuit, and people forget the pit stop also has to be there too. So I remember in Silverstone in BPEC, a lot of people got drive-throughs and stop-go penalties just because they didn't practice the pit entry. So it's a very important part of practice what people forget about. As I see Andre stop on the middle of the track and disappear.
Well, we just switch away from
Yeah.
that because we do not condone, blocking the road.
Yeah, see, it's got back on our way again. So I wonder if that was just a mini hardware failure, or he's just like, kind of couldn't bother to press the pedal for a bit.
He got bored of driving, so he decided not to drive.
Yeah,
Well,
don't really know what's happening.
he was standing still for quite a while, so I don't know what that was about. If Sammy now go into the pits, Harry is still driving. Find a couple of others, just getting a good feel of the car. Get themselves ready for qualifying, which will be in a moment. Then
Yep, quali would not be starting on a green track. The track really hasn't gripped up how I imagine a lot of people would have expected it to. So the first few laps will be a lot of guessing whether the car will grip or not, I'd imagine. So it's
yeah,
going to be
for
interesting
sure.
to
But
see.
keep in mind that the track is a long track, so it's gonna take longer to rubber in. And of course, there's not as many cars today.
Yeah, but it's on a But that also means there's emphasis on the final laps. The final laps will be very important in qualifying. You know, you can do a brilliant lap on the first set of runs, but that's going to mean nothing if the track's the second fastest on the last runs. So
Yeah,
it
for
puts some
sure.
added pressure and really rewards getting them laps in and not messing up your laps, and consistency will be rewarded here.
Yeah, absolutely. The last run will be the most important, and if you can't put it together, then it's just lose a couple of places instead of starting 6th. You might start 12th, for instance. Can
Yeah,
make a big difference, especially for the
yeah.
championship.
I remember in Spa, two things. Oh, that's quality starts.
Yes, I
Um,
have to reset that. There we go.
Yeah, I was gonna say in Spa. I remember in this series. I did a good first lap and put myself like P4, I think. But then I couldn't actually get a grip of the car and couldn't actually put another lap in. So I ended up starting like P13, P12, something like that, just because I couldn't put a lap in near the end. So there's really a lot of time to be had by just putting a lap in.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, you do see drivers drive out immediately. A
Yeah,
bank
if you want
lap
to get the
can
best
be
track.
just as important in certain situations.
Yeah,
They
it's
will get.
Bathurst. Yeah, I was gonna say it's Bathurst. There's gonna be a few mistakes, a few crashes, I'd imagine, especially when people push into the limit, especially the top guys, because they get really close to the walls. You don't want to optimize the lines, so sometimes it's important to just get a lap in, especially since on your first lap you shouldn't encounter any blue flags really, which can be a problem around this track, because it can really ruin your lap, especially if you're on your final push lap and someone's going slow for the dipper. You don't want to be losing a lot of time. So it's always good to get a lap in, just in case worst case scenario you get held up or you have a little of a crash.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the lucky thing here is, of course, there's a lot of space on this track. It's 2 minutes to go around, so you've got a lot of space to yourself if you calculate it correctly. You start your lap too close behind the driver ahead of you, you are simply asking to be held up. The
Yeah,
most
but
sensible drivers will be taking their space.
yeah, but I imagine some drivers, maybe the slower silver and Amcross drivers, might be wanting to follow people like Diego and Fruba. See if you can get a bit of toe on the first two straights, because a toe can mean quite a bit around this track actually. And I'd imagine they feel quite confident because I'm pretty sure the Am and silver drivers aren't trying to keep up with Fruba and Diego and the likes. So that could be a tactic, but I think I think that we won't see it that much because it's quite hard to set up and also a bit risky.
Yeah, absolutely. But anyway, here goes Diego across the line for the first flyer. Through the first corner. It's a, well, tight 90-degree corner.
Yeah, a bit of camber on
Not
the
so
inside.
wide.
It's quite awkward to catch, right? You always feel like when you get on the front, you always feel like you're about to wash wide and ruin your exit. He does a good job though.
Yeah, over the
Obviously in
first
the
little
Mercedes.
crest. Through the right-handers, a little bit of camber here to help the car through. He nails that corner very nicely. Take the exit curb, carry as much speed as you can. And then in here, you turn into a braking zone, trail brake through here, up the hill. Get on the throttle as early as you can.
Leave time on the table. Didn't get quite up to close towards the I would imagine will be seen on his final laps. The track is fast now, so there's a bit more grip than would have been on practice.
Absolutely.
So still lifting through there, which I'd imagine when the track's optimum, you won't really want to be doing for the car, because the car is very quick.
This is the main event. This is the main event of the track, Skyline. You go downhill, braking zone, S's. You have to burn a lot of speed, otherwise through here you will simply hit a wall. And during a race, that can mean that your race is over right there.
Yeah,
Easy to make a mistake there.
There's no small crashes on this track, I'll tell you that one for free. One small mistake down there and you hit about 7 walls at high speed, and Diego's avoided that, which I'm pretty sure he'll be quite happy about. I'm seeing there's no yellow flags yet, so I think everyone's got through their through nicely, so that's impressive by them.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, every crash here is an event, so keep an eye out for that during the race. Next one, I believe, is called Elbow. Try flat out and then hard braking zone into the chicane. We might see some overtakes here during the race.
Yeah, it's the main overtaking opportunity, and I feel like that's where you want to be making your moves. I see Donuts invalidate this lap, so he's already made one mistake. He can't afford too much of that.
Diego
a bit late
goes to finish this lap. Last corner is a 90-degree angle. The pit entry is before that. We'll keep an eye out on that for the race too, but that is a 2 minute, 2 second, and 492 milliseconds total for Diego, as Harry Spears immediately dives under that with a 2 second and 1 tenth of a second.
Yeah, a person won't be very happy with the laps will be Andrew Katz, 1.5 seconds off the pace from the top drivers, and he knows he can do better than that. And I would suspect he'd made a big mistake on that lap, and I think he'll be looking for a better lap in the later parts of quali.
Yeah, it could be a big mistake. Could very simply be I am doing a simple banker lap, or maybe he's not quite happy with the pressures as he stops again and is going to try to fix what is hurting him. Diego is on another flyer. He is currently a little bit faster than his last lap. Frubo also improving behind him, but the improvement is less big than Diego. It would still be faster than Diego, but let's keep an eye on Diego first. He will be the first one to finish his lap. Just nicely through those S's down the hill.
No mistakes yet again.
Yeah,
no major mistakes.
Have a good exit here. Having a good exit is, I mean, you take the speed for the entire straight. If you have a bad exit, then you're going to suffer for a very, very long time. Over this crest, which you do not notice unless you're in an Audi, as Deck has found out in recent testing. There you go.
Stopped. If you can, this is the final, going into the final corner. I remember last lap he went a bit late on the brakes, locked up the brakes a little bit, so let's see if you can tie that up.
That would be a lot of time save if he can manage it this time. Get a little bit better. But like still a little bit deep. But 2 minutes 1.
Yeah, into the 201s now. Pretty happy with that. Track clear, ramping up a bit. 2 temps clear of Harry Spears, but I imagine he's about to put that correct.
Yeah, he immediately jumps Diego. Second, 2 minutes 1 second on the board.
I wonder if Frubo's not Frubo, Harry Spears is ready for another lap, or if he's just gonna pull over to the side. We saw Diego pull over to the side. The track is 90 degrees right now, so it's not the warmest, not the coldest. So I think the tyres can probably do 3 or 4 laps here, but this track is very long. So towards your end of your 3rd lap, for example, your tyres might be begging for mercy.
Absolutely.
So it'll be interesting to see if someone wants to
You do not want to overdo it. Maybe hot, cold, hot would be an option, but that's a very, very long cold lap. A lot of time lost. And Sammy does finish the lap. I think it was an improvement.
Yep.
I believe it was. I'm trying to figure out how this works. Yeah, that was, I believe, an improvement. Very nice from Sammy. Into P9 he goes. Probably some time to find, because that is 2 seconds behind the leader. It was different class, so not too much of a disaster, but it is a big gap.
In AM class, we can see Janssen is on port now, which is going to be quite important for him because there's a championship battle between Janssen and Breda. So Breda's not had a great quali lap. He's sat in third, and I imagine he wants to maybe challenge for third, maybe just consolidate second. Obviously, it's just qualifying. You don't get points for this, but I imagine he wants to put himself in a good position because he is behind in the championship right now, and I imagine he does want to go ahead of Janssen this race.
Well, we always assume that people want to win the championship.
Yeah.
Yannick has shown a very strong pace in every race. However, he was not at Imola, so he missed that race. That's, I think, the entire reason why he's behind. Niels has also been putting in some very good races, very good runs, and as a result, has the lead of the championship right now. It's, Charlie Kent. Not sure if that was an improvement for him. Regardless, it was an improvement, but it was not enough to beat Norbert to third place on the grid right now.
Yeah, them two are
P1
and P2. No.
Not sure what happened there. But probably just slowing down again.
Thomas and Charlie are P1 2 in the championship right now, actually. You'd think it'd be Harry Spears and Diego, but I don't think Diego obviously has had a few incidences, and Harry actually changed cars at Kailami, so he lost all of his points there, so that's why they're behind. So it's a championship battle between Charlie and Tamas, as we see him almost lose it. He does save it, keeps out the walls. Might need to change your pants after that one and reset to the pits. That'll be annoying for him, but luckily no damage to the car, and we're allowed to reset to pits in this series. So he's now qualifying, and yeah.
Yeah, exactly. As Diego goes through the hill again. And he's currently in for a small improvement. Of course, Norbert Tamas, as we just saw, also set a very decent improvement. Only 2/10 behind the leaders now from, well, that was about 6 or 7 tenths. So it's really made up gap. I think it was in fact 8 tenths. Matteo Schmidt actually has done a really good job putting in a P4 so far. We are watching currently Diego, who wants to challenge for that pole position, and only got Harry ahead of him.
Yeah, obviously you want to get pole, and at Bathurst especially, the while maybe P1 and P2 don't matter too much because there's a long 2 straights before you get to the hill section. Imagine, especially with the Merc's quite unstable for the mountain section actually due to how much of the weight is at the front of the car. The rear can get quite light over the hill. I imagine he doesn't want to be following in Harry's dirty air over the hill. So I'd imagine he does want to get in front of Harry. And obviously have his car in the optimum performance optimum, not following any cars behind him.
Absolutely, you do want a clear space ahead of yours. Diego goes across the line here. Ooh, wait, a little bit of a scruffy exit there, but still an improvement, but not enough. Crucially, less than a tenth between Harry and Diego now. It's an improvement, but not enough for a position, as Harry is again improving already after Sector 1.
Yeah, it's very close between the two of them, but right now Harry does have the edge, it appears. Harry's just seemingly just improving or finding time every lap he does, and I think Diego's beginning to get his laps about where he can do right now. Obviously the track will be speeding up a bit, so Fruba has done all of his laps after Diego, so obviously there's a little bit of an advantage there. But I'd imagine Diego does want to needs to find a bit more pace if he wants to challenge Harry right now.
Absolutely, for pole position that will be essential. For now, it appears that Harry is in control of this session, of the pole time, and He goes through there, maybe a bit hot through there, but he does gain some time. Late on the brake and keeping the car under control.
Obviously, the Bentley very good over curbs. It can actually go onto the grass. I've seen Harry do on the exit of that corner actually. Actually, he's gained some time there as he
Yeah, he's improved quite a lot to
quite
a
a bit.
2 minutes 1:05. I think that's like 2/10. That is a whole lot. If you're ahead of everyone, taking off another 2/10 is gargantuan, even in a 2-minute lap.
Yeah,
Very well done.
It's
We have some big improvements. Andre Katz strongly out of position right now. He does have a huge gap to other pro drivers, and there's like a couple of big gaps between Vojta and Weber. We have only 2 people, but a full second. So
yeah, he won't be. Andrew won't be happy with these laps right now. The Aston is good around here, and he's a good driver. He will be expecting a bit better, so I imagine he's trying to put this right now with this lap. I'd imagine. However, that Aston does not look happy. It's twitching quite a lot by the looks of it. Goes a bit deep there.
The car could work, but maybe the driving style for this track is maybe not quite suited. It is a very unique track. There's a couple of straights where basically all the overtaking happens, and then you have the hill where you have to be precise. It's like Monaco, but extremely fast. It's even more precise. Yeah, Monaco, but fun.
And with overtakes.
Well, the overtakes happen here.
Yeah, true.
Anyway, 2 more corners. He is on a big improvement, but I'm wondering if it's going to be enough in terms of positions. He moves up 1 position, big time improvement, but not enough for challenge Charlie Kent in P5.
He's been close to the pack ahead, but watching that lap, there's lots of time to be gained. He's missed a few apexes there, and he would know that. But I'd imagine he's a bit overdriving the car, especially since the track is not optimum still. So, he has to adapt to that. Maybe he just isn't adapting as well as other drivers like Charlie, Diego, and Harry.
Yeah, very possible, as we see Diego here. Another attempt for pole position. Now, he is up some time, but it doesn't look like it's enough yet to challenge Harry. We'll have to see here. Goes through elbow. Late on the brakes, as late as you can. Got a
nice
clean exit.
Very clean exit. Didn't get over the curb or the grass like we saw Harry do on his lap.
Absolutely. He's gonna need a little bit more. He's gonna try maybe late on the braking here. Get a very strong exit if you can. Needs to be stronger than that, unfortunately. But the gap is so small. It's about half a tenth between Diego and Harry. So this will continue for a little while.
Yep. I'd imagine that's on a... we're going to have a very close ending at the end of the session. So it'll be interesting to see if Diego can just maybe break it a little bit later, maybe get the throttle time a bit earlier and just like gain them that half a tenth and maybe snatch pole away from Harry.
As we do see Niels Janssen here leading M-Class currently. Quite a strong grip on first place, but he's gonna make that even stronger. 8 tenths now between him and Reese Corbin in second for the class. O'Neill's doing a very good job here. Exiting stage right.
Yeah, Janssen's is performing very well here. Elo may not be. We're not seeing the pace he's shown in other previous rounds. Maybe. However, Janssen's performing very strongly and is ahead of a pro driver, which I think says quite a bit about his pace.
I think with Yannick though in P14 currently, maybe not showing his pace in qualifying, but we've seen that more in the season. He tends to simply win races by not making any mistakes, even despite the fact that he is in a Porsche. He is very clean. That gets him the wins in the end. Qualifying doesn't get you any points. It's a race finishing position, and to get those points, you do have to finish the race. He's been really good at that. And credit
Elo's performances this season it's really been a step up from previous seasons. Like beforehand, he could occasionally show pace, but sometimes the time bit off the pace maybe a bit inconsistent. But as we see, Diego really struggling that exit. That will cost him quite a bit of time.
He was 2 tenths up. He would have had pole position in that lap. had he not made that mistake. But yeah, you make one mistake like that, and it's just simply over.
Yeah, well, Velo this season, he's stepped up this game. He's been very consistent, putting good laps just consistently, and realistically, if he didn't miss that race in Imola, he could easily be in the championship lead right now.
Yeah, it would have been maybe a crushing lead. In fact, he's been very strong all season, and missing one race can make the difference. Anyway, you've got Charlie Kent here. He's doing a big improvement. Not any positions, but that's 3/10 or something. So that just looks good on the scoreboard.
Yeah, Charlie's a very consistent driver. He's good in quali, and he's very consistent in the race. I think normally if you ever look at the sim grid, not the weird like sim results page, he's always top of the chart in terms of consistency. So that's where we'll see it in the race.
Yeah, and we did see him, of course, win that Barcelona race, the 12-hour with Deck in the car. Despite maybe Deck not being known for the pace, but he is also an extremely consistent driver. Just 2 consistent drivers in the team, and you get results like that. And
yeah, Deck is very quick. He struggles a bit in qualifying. I think he'll admit that. He's doing actually quite good right now. Actually, not that far away from well, if you ignore Schmid, who's absolutely clear of the silver drivers, he's very close to everyone else. He's doing quite a good job at it. However, he's not the quickest qualifier, but he's very quick in the race. He always seems to he seems to basically be able to do his quali lap consistently in the race.
yeah,
which is very impressive of him.
He's got 1 speed essentially, and 1 speed only, and that can really like it looks. It will give you exciting races because you're always underqualified and overperform, so you always have something to do. Because of overtakes, and yeah, I tend to I feel like my meme with races is that I mess up the first 2 laps and then just consistently put in laps and do quite well after that.
Yeah, my meme is I just crash.
We've got Harry Spears here again on an improvement actually, already faster than anyone else. Diego was challenging, but Diego's in the pits now, and that means that Diego is not setting any more laps because we are going to the end of this session. Half a minute left. Harry can set another lap if he wants to, but he probably won't need to. He is 3/10 ahead of the field with a 2 minutes 1.3.
This is an impressive performance by Harry. It's what you expect, but it's impressive either way. Unless Tamas or Charlie can pull some time from anywhere, then it should be a pole position at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we will see Charlie do an extra lap. Yeah, he just started one, I believe. So he's got an opportunity to maybe improve it. The track will be at its best for him. The number 70 car, which will be Norbert Tamas, I think. No, Norbert is not setting in a lap. Must have hit the finish, so... But Matteo Smith finishing his lap, he is set for 4th place. Big improvement there to beat Charlie Kent, and that could be big if Charlie is not able to improve.
This has been impressive. That's an impressive lap, and if now Charlie's under pressure, he's probably not paying too much attention to the position, but he's probably seen his number change to a 5 now, and he's under pressure, especially in the dipper and that. He knows
it's not a big gap, but it is a gap, and he needs to overcome it. Andre Katz is right ahead of him on track. He's on a slightly bigger improvement for positions that won't matter yet. Needs a little bit more to beat Daniel Nyakas in P7. I think Donuts behind has unfortunately invalidated his lap time, so Donuts will not be improving. We'll have to start from P5 at best. We still have Andre driving, and the driver number 66, that is Yannick, is also driving, but is not on an improvement. In fact, I believe he has just made a mistake, as we can see right there, being passed by Andre, who is matching his time currently. We also have Deck, who is coming up to the end of his lap. He is improving. Currently in P9, crosses the finish line. Where will he move? Oh, they are tied for time, Brian!
Jesus Christ.
They are tied for time, and Andre, well, I mean, for the honor, you have to break the tie, right? He said it first, so he will be ahead on the grid regardless. But he's not improving. It doesn't look like he will move up at all.
7 times in this one quote.
Yeah, so nope. He's decided to end it like that, and I feel like that's fitting.
Yeah.
So, Harry Spears then Pole position, followed by Diego, the car right next to him. Norbert Tamas in third place, and after that already we have our first in silver, which is Matteo, and Niels all the way up in P10 for very impressive performances.
Yeah, we've seen some stand-up performances from the Schmid and Janssen. They've took pole quite dominantly in their classes, actually. Like, Pavelek was able to close the gap a little bit towards the end. However, still Schmid's within 7 tenths and is almost 4 tenths clear of the next silver driver. Same thing with Janssen. It's impressive performances by them, but you know they don't get points there. Let's see if they can keep up in the race.
Yes, exactly. And Bathurst is a very, very tricky track. If there's one place where you can lose it all in, well, just one lap, up the hill, down the hill, or if you're in an Audi on a straight, and, it's very easy to lose that Bathurst.
Yep, as we wait 5 minutes because I don't know, the drivers got bored and wanted to go for a nap or something.
It's a pee break. You play games like Amos 2, it's always 2 minutes. That's not configurable in that game. In this game, it is. And in Amos 2, you have to rush to pee. You probably don't want to do that anyway, because you have to select your tires, you have to select your fuel, double
Sorry,
check
pit
it, because
strategy.
you're very anxious. Yep, pit strategy, if you forgot that. Here, it's a lot more relaxed, thankfully.
Yeah. It's relaxed for them. It can be a bit boring if you're on the grid, you're not going for a piss. So you just
Oh,
kind of sat there
I
doing
wouldn't
nothing.
have a 5 minute wait in an open lobby, that's for sure. But if you're about to
Yeah,
drive for 1.5 hours, that's
it's
nice to have that
respectable. It's
break.
fair enough. Fair enough. We see all the cars on their jacks.
Going forward, we got Steve and Safi. They are going to steward this race. I will look at any incidents that happened. Give penalties
Yep.
accordingly.
Ready to break anyone's legs if they do a bit of a naughty and take everyone out. And in BSKIT series, we often find that on the first lap there's even harsher penalties. I know in some series, like for example in actual Formula 1, it's actually normally a bit more lenient. But in this series, there's harsh penalties if you crash someone into lap 1 and ruin their race. And that normally does deter a lot of incidents. We haven't seen any real big incidents on lap 1 normally. There's maybe you see a few here and there, a few little collisions, but nothing major normally.
Even like Monza was clean in turn one, which is I think illegal. I think you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah, I mean, probably because I wasn't there.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Oh, we did. Obviously, there was an incident later on in the race between I think it was Banana and Andre and another driver. Forgot the name. Not gonna lie. There was a big incident there actually between them three on the straight, going 3 wide. But that's not normal in these group of drivers. They're all very clean drivers, a lot of respect for each other, and normally it's good racing to be had.
Yeah, absolutely. Alright, quick grid rundown then, so that we know where everybody sits. We do have at least one fan of Matteo Schmidt in chat. If you are in chat, feel free to drop us a message, ask any questions, and we will answer them. So, on pole position, we got Harry Spears then, with a brilliant time of 2:01, I already forgot. Then we got Diego in second place, Norbert in third, and already Matteo for silver class in fourth place overall, first in class. Charlie Kent in fifth place, will be disappointed to lose out on that fourth at the death of the session. We've got Avoid Pavlicek in P6 and Daniel Nyakas in P7. Andrei Katz, disappointingly maybe, in P8. Maybe he's just not very fond of Bathurst, but hopefully he can overtake cleanly and have a good result regardless. Declan Bowler then in P9 and P10, already the leader of AM class. In championship, I believe, as well. Niels
Yep.
Janssen. Then we've got Robert Weber in P11. We've got Sammy Cal in P12. Reese Corbin in P13 will be happy with second place, I think, in class. Hopefully he can keep that up during the race. Yannick Breda, who we expect a lot from in the race, judging by his past performances. Got Philip Piacciotta in P15. Johannes Kauner in P16. And Max Weber rounds off the grid. Both Lambos, that's two Lambos actually in the last two spots.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Lambos aren't the quickest cars on this game. You'd think they would be with, it's a Lamborghini. It looks the part, and it's on the box if you buy it physically. But it's not the quickest car actually. So that could be playing into their performances a little bit. Either way, I'd imagine they're a tiny bit disappointed that they are P16, P17, but they can make up for that in the race. That's for sure.
Yeah, nothing they can do about it now, unfortunately. But yeah, it is what it is.
We start seeing the cars come off the jacks now. Below 30 seconds left in the time. Some drivers sometimes leave it right to the end because obviously you want to have the tyre blankets on as long as possible. Because obviously as soon as you take the car off the jacks, your tyre blankets are off. But for the most part, it's most cars off the tracks, and hopefully no one's forgot to do that. Come back late for their P and gets put to the pit lane, which they haven't, which is good.
Yeah, see no cars disappearing, so that's always good as Harry starts the formation lap. Every car after that will follow. It will be a long one, so if you haven't peed already, this is your moment. Grab a drink, grab a snack, and grab the flag representing your favorite driver or something. I don't know how people watch BCSS. That's what I would do if I wasn't casting.
What flag would you have?
I have the Dutch flag, and I have a flag of the province, but I don't think
Yeah.
anyone here is from my home province.
And I don't think there's any Dutch drivers on the grid either today, is there? Faffy isn't there, obviously.
Andre's technically Dutch.
But he does
From
rep the British flag, so.
No, he's got the Dutch flag. Wasn't right.
Oh, he does.
Hey.
he's
Confirmed
switched it up a
Dutch
bit.
person.
Normally he's runs the British flag at aim as 2 races. Maybe he's trying to share out a bit, as we see his car going slowly. He seems to have overtook a few people. It's clearly forgot that he didn't have a good qualifying session and has had to press the brakes and get back into his actual position.
No, he was actually ahead of deck. That's the white car was ahead of him. But position doesn't matter here. He's just warming up his brakes. That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
We've exposed him. Let's go back to Harry, who's a lot more, well behaved on the formation lap.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, Harry didn't go full fall into a wall on the final lap, so much more behaved. Obviously, you don't see that much weaving on this game normally. Normally people get their reattempts by just turning off TC, floor on the throttle, and just and brake temperatures matter quite a bit in heating the tires up. You normally don't see much weaving going on.
Yeah, absolutely. It's mostly just warming up the brakes and waiting for the tires to get their heat through the diffusion of that heat into the tires itself.
Yeah. If you watch the brake lights of the Bentley, for example, actually all the top 3 drivers, they're all just dragging them on the straights, which
Yeah.
I think most of the field is now, because that's how you get the tire temps in this game. It's not very, not the nicest day, does it look in Australia? Does it? Looks a bit dim. It's 6 AM, which is a bit of an early race.
Yeah, it's a bit early, and it's always a bit depressing to wake up that early,
Yeah, especially for a 1.5 hour race at Bathurst. Imagine they'll be pretty knackered.
If this was a 1.5 hour race around like a good track, like I don't know, Red Bull Ring, then I'll do it.
Debatable.
I think the opinions will vary on that one.
Yeah, I feel like it's not even in ACC, so so the ACC fans don't even know what the Red Bull Ring is. So
Yeah.
basically, a lot of straights.
Yeah. See, the cars are still single file with you see, like Diego, like pressing the brakes and throttle again.
Yeah, pouring it again. Yeah.
Yeah. But the cars will line up double file in a moment. They aren't even in Sector 3 yet. It's still a very long straight. They don't have to go flat out.
Most drivers have their lights on. We see a Freebird sunlight he doesn't need to see going to the first corner. To be fair, he has no one ahead of him, so we don't need to. But maybe he wants his lights on for the race. But I think at 6 AM, you don't actually get told off having the lights off. It's more just a nice thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not like he has anyone ahead of him,
Yeah, it'll be open to keep it that way. Come out the first lap.
That's the real question. As Diego has already overtaken him. Not legal. That's to let him go again. As he cut off the grass already.
Somebody, there's 2 drivers I think off the track.
Taking the long way home.
Diego's trying to maybe do the Max Verstappen strat and psych Harry out a bit. But Harry's an experienced driver. He's not falling for it.
Yeah, it takes a little bit more than that to like driver out, I think.
Yeah.
They will be told to go constant speed. I think Diego might be out of position if he stays there. He doesn't,
Say
thankfully.
he's gonna have to press the brakes there.
Yeah, got the good position. Hope everybody does. I don't think it's not a grid. There we go. Green lights. Away we
Good pull
go.
away
Diego's
by
a good
Diego.
start. But Harry is on the inside and just simply covers it up. Diego is
Yeah,
not
what you
able to
expect.
follow through so easily. See all the cars go through cleanly. Turn 1 already passed.
Well behaved. That's good to see. No
Well
drivers
behaved.
off.
And I feel like we're all already sitting single file. Do see a Charlie Kent battling. I believe that is Wojtek Pawlicek on the outside of him. But it's not a move. But Andre on the inside there.
I was gonna say Voiters went wide there. He's only himself vulnerable to Andre, but I think he's gonna be easy out to cover that one up off. I speak English.
Yeah, unfortunately, overtaking is very difficult here up
And
the
it's
mountain,
single
down the
file.
mountain.
And it's single file from here on out. For most drivers, I'd imagine maybe some drivers might feel like they want to go too wide through here. It would be fun, but I imagine it's going to end up in a collision. So, especially with 1 hour and a half to go, it's a sensible thing just to slot in and find your pace and see if you can capitalise on some people's mistakes at this point.
Yeah.
So far, though, no, I don't think there's actually any real collisions. I don't see anyone who's dropped back too much on the timer screen. It's a very clean start.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't see anyone drop off. Do you have any close battles here in the back, actually? Do you see Sammy Cowell very, very close to Niels Janssen ahead, who started 10th and stayed 10th? I think the only improvement I can see so far, actually, look at statistics. We do have Andre Katz has gained a position, and Sammy has also already gained a position. Yannick Breda has also gained a couple of positions at the cost of Reach Corbin and Robert Weber. Who, Robert Weber actually, in the gravel.
Oh, in the gravel.
That's a mistake. He just goes straight at the elbow.
Yeah, maybe he's too wide. I'm not too sure, but he's went straight on.
Oh no,
he went. Curb.
He went all the way onto the curb, and that has completely destabilized the car. And that is not the fastest line through there. Fortunately, drops all the way to the back, but it's a long race.
Yeah, he won't be happy with that. He knows that's a silly mistake to make, really, and be looking to find his rhythm again, catch up to the back. But he's given himself a lot of work to do here. If he wants to get back into the position he was, especially he has to overtake a bunch of, as we see.
Is Matteo being overtaken by Charlie Kent there? Move around the outside, but Wojtek's also there. Wojtek on the inside, but he lets him go. You understand that that's just asking for an incident.
Yeah, and, he has something to do there. However, he's got a bad exit, actually. Andre's all over the back of Voiter. I think he'll be able to evenly keep the position, but Voiter has dropped back a bit on the exit there.
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of a collision between Andre and Voiter there. Maybe Andre not realizing just how slow Voiter was going. Voiter not quite being able to get through there. I do see...
Yeah, oh, they're getting close.
Yeah, they are getting close.
Andre's really pushing that Honda around the track right now. I'm not sure if he had a little bit of damage or whether he's just, you know, trying to get back into his rhythm after being held up a little bit. However, now actually Andre's dropped off a bit from Voiter and is under pressure from the Lambo behind him.
Yeah, that's. I mean, it's gonna go back and forth for a little bit, I think, for Andre. He doesn't have a nice space to move away in. He's just gonna have to keep that position as long as he can, I think, and wait for Voiter to make a mistake. But with Matteo ahead there, having already lost a position, he has, and currently a second behind Charlie, who is making his way slowly but surely to Tamas, I hope for him. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that little train develops with Matteo ahead of it.
Yeah, the Lambo behind Andre is still very close to him, closest cars on the track right now, actually. We also see Voiter catching a bit up to Schmid in P5. Schmid is a silver driver, and so is Voiter, obviously. Voiter has all but secured the championship at this point, but I imagine he wants to still get the win this race. You know, secure the championship, like officially, and gain it in style. But you'll obviously have to get past the BMW first to do that, and the BMW isn't the easiest thing to pass with its okay straight line speed and very good brakes.
Yes, of course, and that wide rear. And no, it looks very wide, but I think it's just as wide as all the other cars. Oh, as you see, Daniel Naka's making a bit of a mistake there, and as a result, that's deck through.
Has he kept out the barrier? He looks to have done, which is very impressive to see.
Quick look at what happened here.
Yeah,
It was close to Andre before. Not sure if that's involved here. Goes through the hill there.
Oh, good so far. He's just understeered.
Oh,
he's turned in late and he's hit multiple walls. Done a good job actually to avoid the third one. He's have a good amount of damage there. He's clearly on that corner, quite a bit cambers. You dropped quite a bit downhill there on that corner, and he's just turned in a bit too late, and as a result, he's just understeered straight into the wall.
Yeah, Bathurst easy. It's easy to make mistakes if you do that at Paul cars. You have like half a mile left to make your corner anyway. But here, as long as you go, as soon as you exit the white lines, it's into the wall for you. Take some damage, lose some time, and cry about it.
Yeah, look, he seems he hasn't got too much damage. He's carrying on, and obviously he could pit now. Actually, it would count as a mandatory pit stop. There's no pit window in these races. He could pit now, but clearly he feels like the car's still fine, which is lucky considering it was quite a big incident. And I think he's got back into it and going to start putting a deck under pressure.
Yeah, and don't forget that if you stop now, you will not make it to the end of the race. So probably wants to carry it just past that point where you can stop and make it to the end.
Yeah, the Lambo seems to not lost much straight line speed. It was gaining quite a bit in Aldi in the slipstream.
Maybe not too happy in the corners, but on the straight line it seems to be alright. As I believe we see Robert Weber overtaking. Is it Max Weber? Yeah, there we go. Sorting out who is the best of the Webers, and seems to be Robert.
Yeah. Maybe go back and we can replay the move.
We could do that, but it's I don't think it's too interesting. Just on the outside, I believe, since Max is of course in AM class, it's kind of lets it happen.
Yeah, he's straight line speed that Mercs, just let him get through. It wasn't really contest by the breakers then, really.
Yeah, it wasn't even
Weber's
necessary.
moved up place. And he's on to try and get catch up to cars ahead of him now. Still a long way to go until his next pro driver, which will be Andre. But
Yeah, absolutely.
If he carries on with the moves he's doing right now, he should be able to actually maybe get up to P10. It's gonna be a recovery drive for him, I feel.
See Sammy Cowell in the Porsche, suffering from Porsche, as Niels Janssen is walking away from him in the straight line, because Niels is in a BMW.
That's one thing. Both him and Yannick will have the problem. As we see the BMW get really wide here, this could be an opportunity for the Porsche. Obviously, he's not be able to gain on a straight line speed, but maybe a dive on the inside. He thinks better of it. That's a good decision by him. Obviously, try Yaoi. He knows now at this point the BMW is under pressure. He's clearly feeling it, and they'll be hoping to force the BMW into a mistake. Yeah, I was about to say the Porsche is really bad at straight line speed, and the thing is, all the overtaking
we've got to fight for the lead here. As all the fights were going on, we almost missed this. It's Diego moving to the top of the list.
Yeah, Harry's. What's happened to Harry there? He was I think at one point he was a second clear of Diego, and now he's P2. And Tamas is right behind him actually now. I wonder if Harry's made a mistake.
Apparently, was a little bit of contact between both of them, but we'll have a look at that in a moment. But as it stands, Diego currently in the lead of the race.
Yeah, be happy about that. Be looking to pull away a gap now. Let's have a look.
This was a little bit of contact here. Oh, Diego with a very late on the brakes, a little bit of contact, and Diego wide here. That was just before the move had happened. And
Interesting what the stewards think of that. I think they might just let that carry on because it looked like they both kind of looked like they were to blame for that. I'm not gonna lie, looked like a race against it to me. But they'll carry on. Diego does come out in the lead after all that.
yeah, but the race is of course not over. Very impressive for Diego to be able to make that move there. But Harry still looks to be faster driver overall. Does have the fastest lap behind his name, and it's not close between him and Diego in terms of fastest laps.
I
So
wonder if
we will
them two
see.
got. Yeah, I was gonna say. I wonder if them two got damage, and that's why Tamas is suddenly all over the back of him. Tamas is probably his eyes are glowing right now. He's seen as we see Voya. Oh, Jesus Christ!
That's some
Deck
very,
slams
very
on the
strong,
brakes.
very strong reflexes from Deck, understanding that this car is
Yeah,
having a moment and we need to stop the car.
and the
Basically.
Lambo, and good, very well behaved from the Lambo behind Deck as well, slowing down when he saw the collision. I know some drivers may see a gap and just send it and try to gain two positions at once, but he was sensible about that. Luckily, we've avoided a big collision. However, I imagine Voyer isn't very happy about that. He was in
Yeah,
a very
absolutely.
strong position. I think P2 in the class he was. So
Yeah,
yeah,
just behind
imagine.
Matteo and now all the way down. So
Yeah,
unfortunate.
you see he has the pace to recover from that, and he's in a car which does have okay straight line speed, unlike the Porsches ahead of him. So he should be able to make up some positions there. So he's should be in for an exciting race at least.
Yeah, what is going to be an exciting race. I think a lot of us maybe weren't expecting it so much, but we've got Diego and Harry fighting it out for the lead here. And Norbert Tamas right behind. Norbert, of course, being the leader in the championship. I think it's very important for Diego to finish first here, preferably with fastest lap, because I think that's the most that I think is the best for his championship. He's currently third, about 21 points behind Norbert. If he finishes first and Norbert finishes third, that would mean a difference of 10 points. If Diego also gets fastest lap, he gets another 3. So I think that will be what Diego will want to do. Obviously for him,
However,
Harry is currently faster in terms of fastest lap, and also challenging him for first place.
sadly, what Diego wants and what he'll get might be different things, because Harry looks very quick, and if there's another instance between the two of them, I'm sure Tamas will be there to clean up the position. As we see the Bentley again on the grass there, and Tamas is actually quite close to Harry now. Yeah, bit of a mistake there by Harry, and Diego's pulled away a bit of a gap now. Can maybe breathe a bit as he sets fastest lap of the race, I think.
He does indeed. 2 minutes 1.9. That is very, very quick.
That is
I
very
think
quick.
Diego recognizes he does need that fastest lap for the championship, and there he's gone and got it.
Yep, I imagine that won't be the final fastest lap. Obviously, once fuel loads get lessened and people pit for tyres and all that. However, he'll be happy with that right now, and hopefully he can carry on that pace and pull a bit of a gap now for him, and capitalise on Harry's mistake. Maybe as well as this, maybe Tamas seeing that Diego, the Karen P3 in the championship, is pulling away in first, might be feeling a bit wanting Harry to get a bit of a move on. Being safe to say.
Yeah, I think that is definitely what's going on over here. But Harry is keeping it cool.
Yep, Harry knows he has the pace to win the race, and it just depends on not making mistakes like he did there. We've already seen him close the gap to Diego a little bit. Yeah, if he doesn't make mistakes, he does definitely have the pace to win this race, and Diego probably recognises that, and he's pushing very hard to pull away right now.
Yeah, absolutely. It's nice to see Diego and Harry go toe to toe like this. We did see races in the past where Harry simply parked up at the start, just let everyone by, and tried to go for a last to first challenge. And often he would gain massively on the leaders. Nobody that could hold a candle to him, but few races on, and here we go. We have a fight for the lead, and it involves Harry, but he's not even ahead.
Yeah, and this time we haven't seen Harry pull over to the side. Clearly, maybe not quite as confident this track. Pretty good. It's a different track, that's for certain. I imagine Harry's a very quick driver, but I imagine he hasn't quite practiced as much on this track as he does maybe on other tracks. and clearly he doesn't have the overall raw pace he normally has on the more traditional tracks like Spain and that. I mean, he's still quick, yes, but he can't pull over and still win the race type thing. He has to battle for this one. It's exciting to
Yeah,
see.
absolutely going to be a fight. Not the only fight going on track, really, though. We can look away without anything happening there for a moment. We've got Deck here in P8, very close to Daniel Nyakas. This is for P2 in class, as Mateo. It's a bit away, but this is going to be for points.
Yeah, we're, Schmid's pretty clear of them right now and Silver in first position. That's who Deck's fighting with in the championship. They're level on points right now, actually, in fact, for fighting for P3 in the championship. However, I imagine Deck probably recognises that, but, you know, he needs to still gain as many points as possible, even if Schmid does come first in this race in silver class. Imagine Deck still wants seconds, so we can put a fight on him in the final race.
Yeah, absolutely. But let's keep in mind that silver class is the only class where the win can and very likely will be decided today. Vojta needs to finish the race in order to secure the championship, and he's currently still on track, so looks good to him.
Yeah, he did. We did see him have a little bit of an off. I actually see he's actually got past one of the Porsches of Yannick, so he's making his way up in positions. I imagine he'd be gaining quite a bit on Janssen at this point. Maybe catch up to the back of the other silver drivers like Deck and Cal. So right now it's been a good recovery drive from him, and I'd imagine he's gonna try to keep that up and see if he can finish his championship winning racing style.
Yeah, absolutely. It's only P11 for him, but it's a lot to go. As we do see Reese Corbin and Yannick Breda battle. Now, apparently Reese had a very, very good exit out of the last corner there. And we'll go back to look at that in a moment. But let's see. Oh, and we see one of the Mercedes. That's Robert Weber missing braking point, the braking point, and going straight off.
It's the second time we've seen him go off, a bit further in the corner, but I wonder if he's just paying attention to the cars behind and missed the braking zone.
Let's have a quick look at all that happened there again. We've got downhill here. Normally there's not an overtaking opportunity here. And in fact, normally this is where the gaps grow a little bit, making it hard to overtake. But something happened here. We see Yannick making a mistake there. A little bit obscured by the trees, but he did have a bit of a slide, and that's enough for what's his name? Reese to pull alongside superior BMW speed. And there you go. He's got the position. Gives us a quick opportunity to see what happened to Robert here.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. Did he go on the grass on the braking zone?
Let's have a look. He broke.
He's paying attention too much. The one on the brake back, maybe his brake board looked to be missing. The 100-meter board seems to not be there anymore. And I wonder if he's just sort of forgot to brake. They didn't see the brake board.
I think that's exactly what happened.
It's a mistake. Yeah.
The brake marker appeared to have been removed, likely by force, and he was caught off guard by that. Now I've had that happen recently in a race where you just look for the brake markers because they're always there, lap after lap, and then one lap they're not there. There's nobody warning you about that. They're just gone, and you realize way too late. It's like, hang on, I'm going really fast. Normally I'm going slower at this point. What's going on? Then you realise I'm in the wall.
Yeah, Elo's pitted actually. Made his pit quite early. He should be able to make it to the end of the race. Might have to do a little bit of fuel. No, he should be fine. He should be fine, only just though. He might have to do a little bit of fuel saving, but he should be able to make it to the end of the race. I wonder if he got damaged, maybe a bit earlier at the hill. Very good. Possibly. As we see, someone going to the pits.
Oh, there's Daniel Nakas going into the pits. It looked like he had overtaken Deck, but that was just corner cutting. So Daniel also going into the pits. Early stop, but that should get him to the end of the race for sure.
I guess people in clear out here. If they pit early, they might not be able to have as much grip towards the end of the race. Yes, and they might struggle a bit on the fuel. In some cars especially. However, it does get you in clean air, which is very important on this track because it's quite hard to overtake. And if you're following people slower than you in the mountain section, you are losing time. So imagine they're going for a very long long undercut.
Yes, absolutely. And but of course, if you are in clear air, you do want to stay out as long as you can. It's nice to have that clear air. It's not a guarantee you'll keep it after you stop. Wojtek Pavlicek then very, very close to Niels Janssen ahead of him. He's gonna want that track position.
Yeah,
Keep an eye on that.
Yeah, he has no damage to the car. He managed to avoid a collision with a deck. Well, deck managed to avoid the collision, so he has no damage. The car's in top condition, and we know he's quick, so he should be able to make this move. And at that point, there won't actually be too much of a gap to the Callan deck in front of him. Bit of a gap, but he can easily make that up. He's a good driver. I've seen basically push almost getting very close to the BMW. The BMW is a very quick kind of straight line. The M6, obviously, not as good on the brakes as the M4. It's new BMW. However, I wonder if how the Honda's on a fair trying to get past him. We've seen him get into slipstream. He's not gaining that much, not gaining much at all actually. The BMW of Janssen ahead of him. So clearly the overtake's not going to be easy to make.
It is still BMW, and I believe this car also has a little bit of damage. I do see Niels pushing on that exit, but we're not able to overtake yet. Yeah, he had a crash earlier, as someone points out in chat. He does have damage. In fact, if we go to another camera, we can kind of see that on the bonnet. See how it's open a little bit.
Yep.
Not going to have the straight line speed. Oh!
BMW gone deep, and that's the move. I wonder if Janssen let him through there. You know, it's not for class. Janssen is in the lead of Am by quite a decent margin. I wonder if he's let him through there or he's made a mistake. Either way, Voy won't care. He's through P9 and got his eyes on the cars ahead now.
As we say that, there's a short yellow flag. Tamas being the cause of it, but it appears to have been all right. Let's have a quick look what happened then. Better vantage point. Maybe a bit of a hit with the wall. Ooh, it's a slight curve, but he saves it.
That's
important to save that.
Yeah. It's not often if you have a big oversteer moment like that at Bathurst, especially at the top of the hill, you save it. He's done a good job there to keep out the walls. Imagine his heart rate may have went up a bit. He's lost quite a bit of time to the cars ahead, obviously, but no damage. He can keep his P3, and that's very important for the championship. Actually, obviously he's the leader right now. And Charlie P2 is right behind him. If he was to have a big crash now, he would be at quite a risk of losing his lead of the championship right now. As we see Harry very close to Diego again, actually.
Yeah, they've been close together for seems to be the entire time, but holding that with this gap. Diego defend the inside. I'm having a bit of a shoddy exit. Harry looking on the inside. Ooh, Diego moves a little bit. It appears to be just fair enough. Harry was a long way back and no collision there.
He retook the racing line there. I think that's absolutely fine. Harry putting his car on the inside probably panicked Diego quite a bit, because in that moment, if you're the lead car behind ahead, you don't know if he's actually going for the move or not. So it's very hard to judge whether you should turn in for the apex fully or try and give some room to the apex. Diego opted for the former and nearly took Harry's nose off, but we got through fine, and the race continues.
Yeah, we do have a couple of cars ahead. Those are back markers, and they will have to let these two through.
Well, they won't have to let him through. The rules are that blue flag cars cannot defend, but they're not obliged to just basically brake and pull over the side. So imagine, I know there's been some controversy about that, especially with some Porsche drivers, because that car's awful for overtaking. As we see that in full force actually, because they're very struggling to get actually getting held up quite a bit by the car ahead. Not sure what car it is, but it's certainly not as quick as Harry and Diego. And I imagine Diego is not very happy in that car right now.
Daniel Nyakas and Yannick Breda, who's all the way back here, but they have both stopped. These are the only two cars that have stopped. They are racing.
That is fair enough. They're allowed to race, and we see the Lambo pulling away from the Porsche. It's not really a fair fight, let's be honest. Harry's flashing his lights. Oh,
Elo's making a mistake. Ooh,
Elo just about avoids Diego. Imagine both of them just as terrified. almost taking out the leader there. He's lost some time there, but I think he'll rather lose some time as we see Harry, as we see, yeah, because let the two cars ahead, he's probably realised that he has made a mistake and now he just needs to get back into his rhythm. Diego has lost a bit of time to Harry though, and Harry is definitely putting him under some pressure. So it'll be interesting to see if Diego can handle that now.
Thinking
See,
Harry
defending
may have actually, well, I'm not sure if he would have been able to make the overtake, but he may have chosen to let it go. Of course, with how good this battle is, it would be a shame if it was ended by a couple of backmarkers. So, yeah, keeping it all calm. He does still have a couple of chances coming up, I think, and definitely not over for them yet. As I do want everybody to keep a little eye on Yannick and Daniel. They have both already stopped at Vojta also now pulls into the pits. And let's see where Vojta comes out compared to Daniel Nyakas.
Yeah, it's interesting Voigt pitting now actually. I mean, we know he has a bit of damage, but his pace has been good. So, and I imagine he's still, I'm not too sure, but I think he had an okay gap to where the cars ahead of him still. So I'm a bit surprised to see him pit right now. But if he clearly feels like he can't get on the cars ahead of him with the damage he has right now, then maybe he feels like pitting and getting rid of the damage, maybe trying to get a bit of an undercut on them, is the way forward. But it's an interesting strategy call. Let's see if it pays off for him.
It will be stronger in these cars. Would it be the undercut, just having the better tires, or is it actually the overcut, where because your car is lighter, it's much faster?
I think it depends mainly on if you're getting held up by a car in front. In general, on this game, there's not really an undercut or an overcut. There's no real advantage to pitting, or a disadvantage to pitting. It's mainly just quite level overall. Like normally your tyres get up to temperature quite soon. Obviously there's fresh tyres, so obviously that gives you a bit of extra grip, but also you have more fuel on board. Because obviously these cars ahead are normally filled up for about half the race, then you're filled up for half the race again. Whereas now Voya, Yannick and Yakas are obviously all going to be fueled up to the end of the race. That's a lot. That's basically a full fuel tank right now. So overall I'd say it balances each other out nicely. And so it's mainly just down to the drivers to be faster or slower than the competitors.
Yeah, so it's mostly about also what happens on track, where you are on track. So maybe depending on the traffic you're facing, it might be better to take the stop, go from there. The drivers that have stopped now, I think, definitely Daniel and Vojta. Vojta has emerged ahead of Daniel. The gap is 12 seconds between them. So that's a comfortable position for Vojta. Of course, he will be looking forward to Sammy and will try to take that position eventually.
I imagine he's repaired the damage. It probably wasn't that much, maybe a second or two. He's probably repaired the damage now and be on his way with quite a bit of pace. Considering he was, I think, keeping up with Deck and Cal, maybe even gain on occasionally with the damage. I wonder if he can maybe try jump him in the clear air.
Definitely worth a shot, so we'll keep an eye on that. Vojta currently in P15 will move up after the pit stops have been made. Currently the leader of everyone that has made a stop. So that's not a bad position to be in. I do believe he also has clear air. Is that correct? I'm looking at that. Yeah, he definitely has a lot of clear air.
Yep.
Though the leaders are catching up to him. Oh, and
we
see a yellow flag. That's Robert Weber. Where is he? Ooh, I think he's hit the wall there. Quickly go back, see what happens.
Yeah, if you have a crash there, you normally hit a wall at some point unless he's had a little oversteer moment. Yep, that's a wall.
Ooh.
And that's two walls actually. He's hit the opening of the wall where the marshals would normally recover a car. He's managed to hit the inside wall there. That's very unfortunate because obviously the car's had a bigger collision as we see him go off track again. Actually, there's quite a bit of damage to the front there. And yeah, that car is probably not the nicest to drive right now. Weber has had quite a few problems this race, has to be said. But normally he's avoided damage, but there he's had quite a big collision. The only saving grace for him is that Mercedes is normally okay with front damage. It's the rear damage that he has to look out for, which I think he's managed to avoid. So that's the only saving grace for him right now.
Yeah, hopefully it's not that bad. The first hit wasn't that bad because the wall is parallel with the road, but the second hit must have hurt a lot. There will be quite a bit of damage to repair. Yeah, it was head on, so it's gonna hurt.
Wonder if we've
Nope.
seen pit now.
We...
Oh, that Mercedes getting close to the wall. I'm not sure if that was just obviously since Diego is in Mexico right now and the server is in the EU, there's a bit of lag occasionally. I'm not sure if that was just that or whether he really got close to the wall. Either way, quite close to damage. It does really show how if that was just a little bit wider, Diego's race is on be flipped on its head. Shows the intensity of this track, really.
Yeah, and it's easy to make a mistake like that, but he keeps it just fine. If you don't hit the wall, you are simply an expert. If you do hit the wall, even if it's only a millimeter of movement, you are a binner, a bottler, and a bit of an idiot.
Yeah.
But he's alright. Hasn't hit the wall.
Non-digit just yet.
I do think we might be seeing... Oh, as the camera has a bit of trouble catching up. Harry Spears is catching up. He's getting really, really close. And I do think we have to start thinking about strategy here. One of them might decide to go opposite from the other. And, well, I mean, if I say that, then that means Harry's going to choose if he's going to go opposite or not. Because Diego will be the first to decide.
Imagine Diego will just want to basically run his fuel load and cover up Harry. That'll be his game plan, pretty much. Imagine just go as long as possible and then just pit when Harry does. But you know, there might be differing fuel loads, especially with the cars. The Bentley is very good on fuel. The Mercedes used to be one of the worst cars on fuel. It's okay now, but still not great on fuel load. So the Bentley might be able to actually run a bit longer than Mercedes even on the same fuel. So maybe Diego might have to make the decision for him.
Yeah.
Yannick is in the pits again. Maybe a bit of damage, I'd imagine.
Very possible. Or maybe he decided I need to stop twice anyway, might as well do it now. And he probably would do that with damage or the tyres are fucked. But we'll see.
Yeah. Either way, he's going to have quite a bit of work to do now to secure a podium in the AM class, and that's going to be playing nicely into Janssen's hands. I think if Yannick comes like last where he is now, and Janssen managed to keep the first position, I'm pretty sure he would win the AM championship. I'm not too sure. You have to test me on check on that one.
Sorry. You talking about Janssen? He's currently 11 points ahead in the championship from Yannick.
So,
Yannick DNFs, then it's Niels Janssen with the trophy, I think. Yep.
If Yannick comes last, I imagine it's basically just that Janssen has to turn up to the last race. Yeah, either way,
probably.
Yeah, either way, Yannick's mistake clearly cost him quite a bit there. Let's see, he'll be hoping for maybe a mistake from the other drivers, which is very possible. I mean, we've only had 30 minutes left. That's only a third of the race. There's still plenty of opportunity for someone to hit a wall, you know, especially towards the end of the race. They've been driving quite a long time. I know a lot of people have been practicing for quite a while, like maybe some even an hour before the actual official practice even went fully up for the actual racing event. So, you know, some drivers might be driving out here for more than 2 hours non-stop. So I'd imagine towards the end of the race we might see some tired drivers, and tired drivers often make more mistakes. So it'll be interesting to see if that plays out.
Is absolutely.
We see 2 other drivers in the pits, 2 Mercedes.
Mistakes are very, very easily made, of course, here, as it is Bathurst, and we have already seen a couple of crashes here and there. A couple of people missing their braking points into the last chicane as well. I think it's a little bit comical, but no big crashes with no big car-to-car crashes, which is, I think, the main thing we want to avoid. So I think Steve and Safi are probably just having a beer. Let's hope they don't get too drunk when shit hits the fan later.
Yeah, so yeah, it's not there's not much to really do, have there, really. I'm not sure if they'll be disappointed because, well, I'm not sure if disappointed with lack of work they've had to do, but from a viewing perspective, it's great. No one's had the race ended just yet. You know, like everyone is still on track. Everyone is still in contention for some points, and that's always good.
Of course, we did have I think we had one controversial ending to a race at Brands Hatch earlier this season. But yeah, it could happen that Harry and Diego come together on the last lap, and then we'll have a very long night for the stewards. We will absolutely make them stay up. Oh, I think we hear from Steve. He claims to be eating ice cream and not drinking.
Alright.
But make of that what you will. I will personally not be the first to blindly believe him, but it's very possible that he is. Ooh, as we see, switch it to Piaggiotta, and you see Yannick ahead of him. Make a bit of a mistake, but I think Piaggiotta backed out, avoiding a
Yannick has managed
collision.
to jump, and that's interesting because Yannick's obviously made 2 pit stops, I believe. Well, yeah, no, he has. And I think Piotr's only made 1, so I'm not sure how Yannick's actually managed to do that. Yeah, that's been impressive by him. I wonder if Piotr had a bit of a big crash before his pit stop, which might explain he might have had long repairs.
That is very possible.
Yeah, I imagine it gives Yannick a bit of hope for jumping a few drivers, as we see Weber, the other one, in the pits. I think he was I think he was last in AM class before the pit stop. So this will be a good comparison for Yannick, who I think he will come out ahead of. So Yannick has been jumped by most of the AM class drivers. I've seen him about to be overtaken, maybe. Oh, Mercedes had a look. Yannick gave him the space, and it seemed Piotr couldn't quite get on the throttle in time.
Yeah, maybe a bit
Yannick
too much curb.
for another day. Yeah.
Bit too much curb. Destabilized. Not a good exit, but here he's got a better exit than Yannick.
Yeah, that
looking on the inside.
That should be a good move.
Again, and a little bit further ahead. So Porsche is late on the brakes, but not that late on the brakes, and the Mercedes goes through cleanly.
Yeah, Jan, there's no point. You can't fight that type of move. He's on your inside there, and it's the camber's on the inside of the corner. Being on the outside there is not a good place to be. If someone's on your inside there, Yannick knows, just let him through. And also, sadly for him, with the poor straight line speed, he won't be able to fight back. Well, he might be, but it'll be a hard job for him. Oh, well, so let's see if Yannick can put a bit of fight up.
Absolutely. Now, looking up and down the grid, there's not many battles going on. Of course, we've got these two very close together, and then we've got the leaders still going at it. Still see them here both in frame. Harry almost completely covered by Diego in that shot. So they're still close to each other, and they have been for, what, nearly 40 minutes now.
Yeah. I'm not sure if I'm getting bored of them two just being up each other's asses, but not trying to overtake each other. But either way, we're in for a good race towards the end of it. Once the pit stop period happens, and I imagine if it's like a 2/10 gap in the dying laps of the race, we might see some desperate moves by whoever the car behind us. So hasn't kicked off quite yet between the two of them, but I think we're gonna have a good race towards the end. As we see Harry do some rallying.
Very possible, and it does appear that Harry has a little bit of overspeed on the mountain section. He did appear to close up a little bit, but it's nearly impossible to overtake there, and he's gonna have to make it happen elsewhere.
Yeah,
so is keeping it consistent, not showing any obvious weaknesses, no mistakes. Yeah, that's all you need to do here. Sometimes.
Yeah, the problem with the Bentley with overtaking is it's not the quickest car in a straight line, and it's not particularly amazing on the brakes, so it doesn't have the benefit of the Porsche or the BMW, for example. So yeah, and the Mercedes, meanwhile, is just good everywhere. Really, it's very good in the mountain section. It's good on the straights. It's quite good on the brakes. You know, like he's gonna have a hard time trying to actually overtake Diego. So he's probably trying to. I imagine for now we should sort of just sitting behind him, you know, seeing where Diego's strong, where he's weak, where he can make the move, try and maybe pressure him to a mistake, for example, right now. Because, I mean, there is 50 minutes after the race and a pit stop, so he does have to make the move right now. But, yeah, he has his work cut out for him if he has to overtake it on track, that's for sure.
Absolutely, and do still have the strategy aspect. We are not halfway through the race yet. Still got 5 minutes to go until we hit that. And after that, we will. It's more likely to see them stop, but I think these two will be the last two to stop. The last thing you want to do is end up in traffic.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be entertaining, I guess, if they do stop early and have to overtake half the field. That would be entertaining, but I don't think that's the optimal strategy, so I don't think we'll be seeing that, sadly.
Yeah, and I do see that uh, Andre has entered the pits, so your teammate is currently stopping. Oh, and I've got photographic evidence that Steve is indeed eating an ice cream. So,
Right. I mean, I mean, you could have just like hid the can under the table or something like that. So
uh, I can't rule that out. I don't have a picture from under his table.
yeah,
Uh,
until we have
just
like a
give us a
360 video,
yeah,
we
yeah. I
can't
want a
we can't
3D
prove
scan of his
that.
entire room.
I want to see like a ACC like level laser scan of his track. That was really.
Ooh, as we see, ooh, there has been a bit
Oh,
of an
what's
incident.
happened there?
Piazzetta. Let's have a look. Go back 30 seconds. Let's see what happened in the lead up to that.
Luckily, you
So
didn't hit what
he's.
rejoin.
It appears to be he's completely alone. Even Yannick was well behind him, so nothing there for him. It could very well be a case of simply braking too late or hitting the curb too much. Let's see what happens. It's a curb. Oh, that is an awkward
Oh,
angle.
he's hit the curb awkwardly. He's done the thing where he doesn't like properly hit the curb with the full tire. He's kind of just caught it, and as a result, he's just kind of spat him out. Like if he took more of the curb, I'd imagine it would actually be fine. But because of the weird awkward angle he's took it at, the car's just not been able to take it, and has just bounced him into the bits.
Yeah,
As
there's a certain angle I think for a lot of apex curbs that are bigger than flat. That
yeah,
if you hit them at a certain angle, they become launch pads, and they can like launch up. There's a couple like there's a if you watched Formula One at Imola, where Charles hit the I believe hit the wall after hitting a curb. There's also an awkward angle where most of the time it's fine, but because he hit the curb twice, because it is a bit of a sausage curb, you can hit it from the inside again. It just becomes a launch pad. And that's just how curbs are sometimes. Taking them is always a little bit of a risk. As we see, ooh, Yannick, I think he's hit the wall there. Caused a bit of a yellow flag.
what's
And
happened there? That car does. That looks like. To be honest, that car doesn't look very healthy.
oh, he's gone
Yes.
wide.
He's took a bit of speed off there. It's an awkward mistake actually. I wonder if he's had the Porsche snap going through there, that to save it and just hasn't been able to collect it. Either way, that car will have a good amount of damage at this point. I imagine at this point, Yannick just driving around home for someone else to have a big crash and trying to finish the race, maximize point output, and keep him within the running of Janssen, who's having a very strong race, has to be said right now.
Yeah,
Well,
Janssen hasn't made any mistakes. Started 10th, is now currently 7th, although I think there are some drivers that were ahead that have stopped. So it's not. It's a little bit of a deception, but regardless, he's doing an excellent job. Reese Corbin, 9 seconds behind him. Also, shout out to Reese there, doing an excellent job as well, and keeping up sort of the pace. I think with Niels. Niels currently a little bit faster, but
I
yeah.
think Harry's got a bit closer to Diego as well. Yeah, Harry's gone past him. Diego's in the
Yeah, that's
pits.
because they are. Well, yeah, Diego's in the pits, and Harry is not. Harry is still out there, and appears to be suffering from Voita.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was looking at the minimap, they were just stuck behind the Honda. Obviously, he's not obliged to let him through. I mean, he has, because having a massive BMW of Harry flashing lights at you is normally normally quite worrying, so normally people just move out the way from him. But yeah, Diego clearly felt that he wants to pit now. Halfway into the race, of course. Maybe just wants to half it, maybe run out of fuel. However, has to be said, I wouldn't. That's a bit early for what I was expecting from the race leader. And I think that's an interesting strategy, especially since Harry did seem to have the most pace.
Yeah, maybe.
So
But
maybe
I'm not sure how the ties will work for him. What worries me is that it appears that Diego will be behind the 94 and 95 car. 95 car being Deck, who has decent pace. As we see a car, I believe that's Piacciotta. That's not. That's no.
That,
That doesn't look right.
yeah,
Have a quick
that's
look
not
at what
that's
happened
not the
there.
racing line. I wonder if it's something to Elo.
Ilo has pulled into the pits earlier with Diego. Not sure.
Oh, he's hit the
Oh,
inside curb, and it's just similar crash, but just a bit more on tarmac. Oh, and then he's not held the brakes long enough and reversed into the car. Yeah, that that Mercedes is not gonna be nice to drive, and that's gonna be a pit stop, I think.
That's the most scuffed Mercedes on the grid right now, unfortunately for Philip. Gonna have to keep driving that for a little bit longer. He doesn't have to stop, but honestly, might feel better to do so.
Yeah,
Yannick's still in the pits. I believe he has got a lot of damage to repair, unfortunately. Diego currently P6 with the fastest lap, and got a
that's
little
something
bit of
there.
a gap ahead of him. He has some clean air, so he can do his pace. But it's going to be interesting. Harry Spears has pulled into the pit, so we'll keep an eye on Diego.
So
He's
we'll
gonna
see.
want to push as hard as he can.
Yeah, we'll see. I imagine, and Tamas in the pits as well. Actually, everyone's been at once. Imagine they're seeing it's halfway into the race, and I think most drivers do just kind of fuel for half the race and fuel for the rest of half the race. So maybe people run out of fuel at this point. That's why they're pitting. However, yeah, we're going to get our answer quite quickly of whether my idea of Harry being able to overcut Diego will happen.
Diego currently going down the straight, and let's see if Harry is still standing still. He is. Crucially, he's also at the end of the pit lane, so as soon as he starts moving, well, he'll be out of the pit lane. So Diego then going through the chicane,
Will he
still
go?
got a start-finish straight to go. Harry not moving quite yet. Let's see.
It's going to be very close, I think.
Could very
I
well
think
be.
Harry.
Harry has started moving again. I think Harry is
Yeah,
out in front of Diego, and that's a big gap.
that looks very comfortable, actually.
Yeah, there we
Yeah,
go.
that's a
Looks.
very comfortable gap. I wonder if Diego. That's like above 5 seconds. Did Diego have a big mistake in the or in his outlap maybe?
But
Something I
outlap
think.
was a 3 minute 2. Is of course a full second longer because it stopped.
Yeah, it's an outlap. Yeah.
But we're gonna have to compare it to what Harry did. As we see, I believe Daniel has made a mistake here. We're gonna have a quick look at that. Let's see what happens. Going down Skyline. Oh, these are always very interesting to see. Ooh, he saved
Yep.
it.
He saved it.
Okay, he hasn't saved it.
He has not saved
He
that
almost
one.
saved it.
He did a good job to save the original one, but then he kind of launched it over some curbs, and normally GT cars aren't a big fan of that, especially GT3 cars. So, yep, bit of damage there. Let's hope he can carry on.
Yeah, and Deck currently ahead of Harry. This is technically full position overall, but Deck hasn't stopped yet, and Harry has. So essentially, Harry is nearly a full pit stop ahead of Deck.
Yeah, I
I
won't
don't
have
think
seen
Deck
Deck
will
pit
fight
to slap.
too much.
Yeah, I won't have Deck pit to slap, honestly. Deck won't want to get in the way of Harry. So I
You
think
know
we'll either
who's
see him move there or stop.
pulled a bit of a heist?
Who?
Voita in P11 currently has jumped Sammy and Daniel,
Oh,
and they're
yeah,
currently third in class.
he's done a good job there. Wonder if you'd be able to maybe jump Deck as well. I think because also Cal and Deck were pretty close, if I remember correctly, before Cal pitted. Deck
Very
stays
possible.
out.
Deck keeps on driving. I don't think he sees a need to box yet. So
Yeah, he's just keeping his own race. He
doing his
knows.
time.
He knows. He knows he doesn't have to let Harry through. Harry's gonna be told basically to make the move himself. Deck isn't gonna pull over and lose time to let him through.
I think I have I think I have the answer. Apparently, Frubo's outlap 2:56, and for Diego, if you remember, there was a 3-minute 2. So there's a 6-second difference, and that would explain exactly why Diego is so far back.
Yeah, I'd imagine Jake's had a bit of an incident then. I imagine he'll be kicking himself about that one as Deck lets him Harry through.
Yeah, and Harry now taking virtually the lead. I do see Donuts. It says Donut has stopped.
Yeah, he did.
But he's behind. He's P7. Okay. The
Yeah.
timing table is not
Getting a bit
always
mental.
accurate.
I wonder if the gap will be. I wonder if Tamas might be close to Diego. No, he isn't. 7 seconds back, quite distant actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I imagine Jake had a bit of an incident. I imagine Tamas wasn't too far behind actually. But yeah, Harry's got a comfortable lead now and just has to bring it home pretty much. Jake, I'd imagine, be a bit frustrated in that car. Imagine he'd be pushing, at least trying to get past the slap as we see a car backwards. That's Cal.
Yeah, let's
That
Cal. Let's
is
see what happened
on the fast
real
start
quick.
finish straight as he just hit the curb, I believe, maybe.
Oh yeah, launchpad
Yep,
angle.
that's the out. Yep, and then that's the outside curb. That's the grass. You've pressed the throttle on the grass, and that's what happens. Fun fact: grass doesn't have optimum grip, and yeah, the car wasn't a big fan of it. Luckily, he
No.
follows the wall and can carry on with his day. But imagine that's not really ideal for his race.
No, absolutely. And the gap to Voigt is now 18 seconds. The big gap now, and I don't think he's going to be able to overcome that quickly. Do see Charlie Kent then closing up to Niels Janssen. Not for position in class or anything, but at least he's doing quite well there.
Yep, Janssen yet to pit, as we've seen pit. I'll that's I wouldn't be surprised if he does pit, and he does.
Yeah, and I think for Charlie the goal will be to catch up, maybe even overtake Norwood. Although that gap is quite big, and Norwood has very good pace, so that's not going to be easy.
Yep, 3 drivers yet to pit. We have Schmid, Deck, and what 4? If I can, yeah, no 3. Then there's Corbin, who's just
2.
jumped into the pits. So never mind.
Speak of the devil, and he goes into the pits.
Yep, he was P2 in class. I'd imagine he should be able to keep that fairly comfortably.
And we've got the leader of the race currently.
Yep.
Virtually. But there he is. Matteo leading the race.
Yep. I stay now as long as possible, get the sponsors some good publicity. And yeah, just keep, all he wants to do is keep his pace up. He's in clean air right now. Probably sees no real reason to pit, although I imagine he'll be considering pitting this or next lap. I think it is around about the time around now. To pit.
Could be that he filled his entire tank up and decided I'm just gonna keep on driving until the car doesn't want to anymore. But I think he's pulling in.
Oh, that's an interesting pit line.
Yeah, it's a bit of an interesting line, but
yeah, I think he'll get away with that.
I'm not sure what the briefing said.
Yeah, Steve might be able to break his legs, but I'm not too sure.
Steve, can you break his legs for us? Thanks.
Maybe not while he's driving, that would be a bit rude.
Yeah. Apparently, it was a little while ago, but apparently Andre has hit the wall on the mountain. Still in P7, still driving, but he has apparently hit the wall.
Yeah, it's not been the best drive by him, I think it's safe to say. He's not quite had the pace I imagine he wants. He's kind of in no man's land actually, 18 seconds behind, well, in front of Voiter and Quan. I see Charlie's on the other side of the straight, so yeah, he's in no man's land. He's kind of just driving at this point. It's not been a great race by him.
The Deck pull into the pits, and Matteo also being in the pits, so that ends the pit stop rounds. Matteo is going to emerge quite a bit further back than where he came from.
Is he jumped Diego?
No.
Right. Timing's to be funny again.
Yeah, it's P5.
Which is good. I was gonna say, yeah, that's very impressive. I'll say if he's jumped Diego, he's done a very good overcut there.
It'll be very impressive. But Deck still standing still. Will be the last to get out. Andre just outpasses him. Yep. And Voiter, I believe, is still behind him. So still something to race for Voiter. He does have decent pace. His fastest lap is almost a second faster than Deck. So I think he will have the pace to catch up and overtake.
Just a matter of doing it. Deck does have new tyres now, obviously. He's going to have a bit more grip than Voiter on his tyres, because Voiter's tyres have been on for quite a while at this point, I think it's safe to say. Oh!
What happened there? That is Norbert Tamas.
Backwards.
Yeah, Tamas is backwards, and that's Charlie.
That's Charlie ahead of him. That's a championship.
Alright, 3-point turn, boy. Oh, be careful, cars are coming.
Yeah, there's cars. That's...
Yeah, he moves out of the way. Oh, very, very sensible. Good awareness.
That's lucky. But he's
look at what happens.
Now. Did he go? Is that back marker? Or is that?
Oh no, he's lost it on his own.
He's lost it. Yeah, he's pressed the brakes over the hill, and that's it. That's a big crash. That is
a big one.
That's a practically full speed, and he's up to a 7-point turn, and yeah, that's Tamas's race. He might have to go for a pit stop there, because That was a very hefty impact on the front. It has to be said.
And that is devastating, not only for this race, but the entire championship for him. He was the leader of the championship after today. I think that might not no longer be the case. He does have a lot of damage. Andre is far back, though, so I'm not sure if Andre can catch up. Also, Andre is pretty slow, I think, because of damage. So he might be lucky there, but Norbert has got a lot of damage.
Yeah, luckily Schmidt's not in class, so that position also doesn't actually really matter in the long run for him, which is lucky, because that means it's only a 1 position gap to Charlie, not 2. However, that does mean Charlie would be closing the gap, and I think as it current stands, I think the gaps have been closed quite a bit by Diego and Harry as well. So the last round, everything to play for, I think we'll have if the race carries on as it is.
Yeah, exactly. And well, Charlie, let me have a look. Charlie would currently lose 8 points to Diego, so we'll move Diego above Charlie. Norbert Tamas would lose, compared to Charlie, I think, 5 points, I think it is. And that would, let's see, the gap is currently 18, so the gap will become 13 between the top 3. Top 3 according 13 points, which makes it possible for Charlie to win over Norbert. But it's going to be difficult.
Yeah,
a lot more likely
Diego
that Diego has a shot at the championship next.
Yep. Diego also
race.
has a faster slap as well.
Correct.
So if you can actually keep that, then all to play for.
It's the same math as we said earlier when Diego was first, Thomas was third. So that makes it so that if next race Diego finishes first and Thomas third, Diego wins the championship.
Yep, it's Thomas's mistake there is going to be very costly. Imagine Risky would have just wanted to just sit in P3, get some good points, and just do the exact same in the other race and just get the championship. But after that crash, which I will say, Tamas, I've watched him a few times. There's a Mercedes going slowly. I'm not sure what's happened there.
The full away.
Not the race. Yeah.
There's a Piazzetta apparently. Let me have a look.
He's just parked up. He's got bored. He's
Oh, no, it's not parking up, mate. That's a 360 no scope.
Pretty impressive. I'm not sure why the yellow flags haven't come out for that one. I'm not gonna lie. The stewards clearly had a few beers. Yeah, that's not ideal for him. Has to be said. Yeah, I was gonna say Tamas is very quick. However, he does seem to occasionally have a few BMW slides. I think I remember one instance that comes to mind is in Alton, where Andrew was following him and he binned it. Yeah, Tamas very quick driver, but I think occasionally, and I think that's probably why occasionally he can have a bit of a moment. And clearly, normally he gets away with them. But this is Bathurst. You don't have as I think Charlie's crashed.
Charlie's crashed. Oh yeah, Charlie's in the wall. But more importantly, hang on, Daniel Nekas has just overtaken Sammy Cal. We will have a look at Charlie. Ooh, that doesn't look good.
And oh my gosh.
That is Matteo, but that is a lot of damage. Let's have a look at what happened to Charlie.
That camera is not healthy. And now suddenly, I was just saying, Thomas has had a few incidences, and Charlie might have a good chance of the league as he's just binned it. What's happened here?
You know, Charlie, look at the last minutes of him. Appeared to be all right here, and then here on the hill. There's so many places it can go wrong. And I believe it's the long right-hander where he made a mistake. So the next one.
Yeah, it looks fine so far. Do you take the curb? Because...
No, it looks fine.
No, it looks fine.
Oh, it's downhill.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no!
That's the car which is... Oh, that's a big crash, yep. That is...
Oh, that is devastating. That is devastating. That's the kind of crashes that you do not want at Bathurst. Because that car is not passing its next MOT.
Yeah, that's suspension damage. You can see it basically going to the wall there next to it. That's a that's basically a race-ending crash, and what's that? He's broken some sponsor boards. Sponsor weren't very happy. Yeah, that car is
undrivable. You can see the tires. It's grinding on the floor, not turning anymore.
Yeah, that car's crabbing. That's on a. But you need a new chassis after that one. He's gonna get to the pits though. the car looks a bit funky. It has to be said.
I think it's also a little bit of netcode, but yeah, let's pretend it's a damage, you know?
However, that means Tamas has actually gained a position, and Charlie, however, has basically all but thrown away his championship hopes. From gaining points with Tamas, he's went to losing a good amount of points on Tamas, and I think this is gonna be a long pit stop. He might even lose the position to Webber here, the other pro class driver behind him. So yeah,
Yes.
that's a costly mistake, and I think he's all about the championship fight at this point. However, that does mean Tamas has gained position. He's back in P3.
Absolutely, P3 in class, of course, but they were still being ahead, doing an excellent job there.
Yeah,
Leader of silver class. And but Tamas is uh, doing well enough. Hopefully, he makes no more mistakes. It's still very possible. Still 30 minutes left, and you see after an hour, people already making mistakes, as he almost did there. But it's all right for now.
Yep. Charlie's crash just serves a warning to the other drivers, because like if you did see the crash, it wasn't exactly a Oh, there's Deck. Dexter
That is
though
Deck.
probably the same thing, has he?
Yeah, let's
Yeah, I
have a
was
look at
gonna
what
say,
happened.
have they both done the certified Aldi moment? Yeah, that's an Aldi moment. Then
Well,
there's
that's
the
straight
curbs.
on though.
Yeah, there's the curbs. He's
That's
avoided the
similar
wall.
to. I'm not sure who did that,
I
but
think it was the 448 Lambo.
very
Not the
possible.
four, yeah, well, it is a Mercedes, not a Lambo, but you know.
The full 4, right? Yeah, the PS5.
Yeah,
Yeah, very possible, but at least he didn't hit the wall. So
yeah, but
that's good.
we're seeing mistakes are possible still. Like you may think you've got a free position here as a Voiter actually jumps in because of that mistake. Voiter's in P2 class now. It's a very good recovery drive by him. But yeah, it shows that just because you're in a comfortable position right now doesn't mean you're guaranteed it. Very one small snap of oversteer on the hill, a bit of understeer, you know, maybe a back marker just get in the way, and suddenly your race is going from easy podium to P13, like we're seeing in and last position in class as a team for Charlie. Still everything to
Yeah.
play for.
Still in the pit, standing still. That car is being completely rebuilt from scratch.
Yeah,
But,
they've probably told him to get out the can, just bringing in a new one right now from the trucks out back. I would like to say Diego has closed the gap a little bit in Harry. I think
yeah,
it's
that's
not
correct.
exactly.
It was 6 seconds coming out of the pits, and now it's about 4.
Yeah, if Diego's quick, he has a lot of pace right now. If Harry doesn't keep his focus up, if he makes a small mistake, 30 minutes to go, we could have a race back in our hands.
Yeah, absolutely. But also, last lap for Diego was the fastest lap of the race. This one being very close to it, only gaining a 10th on Harry. But if he keeps doing that every lap, and sometimes he will need a little bit more, then it's in the cards for him to still win this race. But it's not going to be easy.
Yeah. Another car outside of a bit of another crash is Yannick. He's had another crash. He's 11 laps down at this point. It was a good race at some point for him, but I think the Porsche is doing a few Porsche moments now and then.
I think he's been parked in the pits for 11 laps.
Yeah. I think at this point he's just like he's he's raised his current laugh and decided, you know what, he's gonna park his car in the pits, go for a beer, come back in 30 minutes time, complete the race and get the points.
They were accusing our steward Steve of alcoholism earlier, but of course it's really Yannick there sitting in the pits, just
Yeah.
giving up, just drinking the pain away. Not recommended. That's not advice.
Yeah, that's not good advice.
Don't do that.
Yeah, I was gonna say they might be doing something to what I did in the F3 season. If you remember the rain where it started pissing it down, and I was last at that point because I'm bad, and I couldn't bolt to the rest of the race, so I just parked in the pits, went downstairs, got myself a drink, non-alcoholic of course, I'm underage, and just wait for the race to. They just came back and did an extra lap, and that was it. Because you still get points for finishing, even if it's not a good finishing position.
Yeah, thankfully. But we got Diego. He's still catching. I think he's still catching a little bit, but there is now a back marker ahead of him.
Yeah.
I think that is in the shape or form of.
It's out of the way though.
Aston.
That's big because I think that back marker did hold up Harry quite a bit. Like that gap's come down again quite a bit. So yeah, Harry's been a bit unlucky there with back markers. I mean, I think there is another back marker between the two drivers actually.
Yeah, it's the full 4 car.
Yeah. Yeah, so you know we would be hoping he gets out the way nicely for him, and if he does, then Diego's in with a good chance here. 30 minutes, 3-second gap. That's easy. I mean, it's not easy to make up, but it's doable. And maybe
Absolutely.
towards the last few laps, I think we might have a good racer. Well, I hope so.
Very, very possible.
I personally
Trying.
need to see the 448 get out of the way, which it doesn't look very happy to do right now.
Of course, blue flag rules, if you are confused by them, they don't mean the same thing as in F1. Doesn't mean get out of the way, nerd, you are too slow. It means there's a driver behind you, take care and do not defend.
Yes, some people don't like that rule. However, that is the rule literally every other racing series on the planet does, other than Formula 1 and like Formula 2. And that also gets Diego goes a bit wide there. It's a interesting place to let a car through because obviously the camber on that corner, you want to be in the apex. If you're not there, the apex, you're understeer into a wall. Diego's got lucky there, I think. But yeah,
Yeah, I
he's
think
carried the race.
that's why people maybe don't like the blue flag rules. Exactly what happened there, because sometimes backmarkers can become unpredictable because of it. Don't know if they're
Yeah.
gonna drive their line or suddenly pull off and let you go anyway.
Yeah, I mean it's people let through is always a good thing, you know, it's goodwill. And there's Charlie again, and has he done something to Derek? That's a very similar position. Uh,
Yeah, but let's
I
have a
think.
look at exactly what happened there. But I think he's hit the wall there. I think he's having a bad time with the Audi.
Well, he was having a good time, and then he's just like, you know what? What's it? Some walls. Yeah,
Oh
he's
yeah.
done
Oh
the
no,
exact
it's
same thing as Derek,
oh,
but
but he's hit the
more
wall though,
but
and
with
the
some
other
walls.
wall.
Yeah. Charlie, what are you doing?
Steve is enjoying it in chat. He's put a laughing emoji, and I just want Donald to know that if he ever listens to this again, go after Steve, not me.
I don't think Dunson will be looking over this race anytime soon. I think it's one to forget for him.
Yeah, it's very possible, but it's a possible. Very likely he's currently third to last, and the drivers behind him are well 3 laps down and 13 laps down. So
Yeah.
not
I
gonna
mean,
be happy with this one.
yeah, he should. At least he's secured P15 hopefully for him. Look at the bright side. I mean, it means nothing because they're not even for class, but he's not last on the track.
He's not absolutely last on the track, no, but it's not where he wanted to be. That's for sure.
Yeah, he's. That's the thing though. People have been driving for so long now. Like some people two if they've really been sweating out practice before the race and that. Maybe even like 2.5, 3 hours if they've been really sweating out. And yeah, drivers can get tired, especially since Bathurst's a very mentally demanding track. Like it's not like Paul Ricard where the mentally demanding thing is staying awake from boredom. It's more mentally draining because you know one mistake and Joanna Wall like he's shown. So yeah, we don't see drivers getting tired at this point. You know, fatigue might set in, and drivers might lose focus. Especially since now there's not really the gaps between most drivers, other than like the lead two, are quite distant. It's quite easy just to go, quite easy, you know, because you're on a voice chat with your teammate. It's quite easy just to stand and chat with them, not focus on your race, and that's what happens. I think Charlie's showing that the most right now, and I wonder if we're going to start seeing that from some other drivers.
Yeah, well, at least I hope he's having fun, because could be it can be mentally very stressful if you are focused on the race and it's not going the way you want it to.
Yeah.
But I think Donato is in for a laugh, so I hope he's
Yeah.
having a good time anyway.
He's having a good time. He's probably had a good chuckle over Deck doing the exact same thing a few laps earlier, and you know what? You know that crash hasn't really cost him anything in the long run. I think he's probably pushing the car loads. You know, he might be trying to get fastest lap here.
Well, if Donald does have an ego, it's very bruised right now, and it's probably in the ER. But
yeah, it's probably in parts. It's probably been teared apart, a bit like his car. To be honest.
like a pit stop, one for the car and one for the ego. Beat the driver up again. But yeah, looking at Sami K, I think he's close behind the next driver, or was for a little while ago. Daniel Nyakas. Still a little bit ahead though. Oh, as he does hit the wall.
Oh,
That is
I think
not
he get
necessarily
away with
slow,
that.
but it is damage. So
I
that's
think
not what you want.
he should get away with that. I mean, I hope he
Yeah.
does. I mean, we'll be able to see if he just suddenly starts sliding into walls all of a sudden. But yeah,
Yeah,
he's got through
hopefully
that. I
it
think
does alright.
he's got away with it. Yeah, it didn't look like a major crash. I think he should be fine with that, and hopefully he can carry on with his charge and see if he can get close to Nyakas now.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about concrete walls. As long as you don't hit them head on, they're actually quite
Quite
nice at
nice.
keeping the car going.
Yeah. It's not like a tyre wall where you just gets bounced in, bounced onto the other lane with a little bit
Yeah,
of
when it
tap.
becomes pinball with your car.
Yeah, it's never ideal. I mean, sadly though, if you do have a head-on collision, which is quite possible on this track, you're not having a good time.
It
You
appears that
can,
Charlie
might
is
want
pulled
your
out of the
car.
pits again.
Yeah, I imagine at this point he's repairing damage going for fast lap, seeing what laps he can do at this point.
Yeah, it's going to be a nerd. Got
Yeah,
his teammate behind him, so they'll probably. Well, I mean, I reckon
yeah,
that normally the donut is a little bit faster, so maybe he doesn't get there. But wouldn't be
yeah.
too much of a hassle if Deck does catch up.
Or look like might crash into each other, you know. Donut might get a bit bored. Nah, I'm just
Look at
kidding.
these two again. Diego's still on the chase now. The gap is under 3 seconds. Has
It's
been 3.5 seconds a little while ago, but he's really caught up the last lap.
Yeah, the track's getting a bit warmer actually, and I wonder if that's playing a little part. Maybe Harry's pressures are a bit high now. Like the race did start at 90 degrees, it's now 21 degrees. Not big difference, but I imagine it makes a bit of it. It's a little difference, which obviously, when your pressures are so you need to be so precise in this game, you really do need to be aiming for that 27.5. Anything above or below, I just losing time. Wonder if that's playing into the hands, or whether it's just Diego being quick. I mean, it's just. Like normally you don't see Harry being hold down on a track normally. Normally if you see Harry in the lead, it's either he's winning the race or he's crashing. But here we're actually seeing that he can be outpaced.
Well,
This is very impressive by him.
the good news is that there's still 18 minutes for Harry to make a crash happen. So the philosophy could still be fulfilled. All I'm saying.
Yep. Diego
too late.
also hasn't crashed yet, and that's considering the race I've took part in, he's hit a wall every time. I wonder if he'll consider it's Bathurst and he hasn't hit a wall here yet. Still time for Diego to be able to crash.
Yeah, there's still
Oh.
time. And
Oh no, he is really closing that gap down actually. Harry is stuck behind a bit of a back marker, I think. Yeah, in
it's
the
Sammy
in the
Cal
port.
actually. Yep.
Yeah. Either way, if Diego can get lucky with back markers, Harry unlucky here, and he keeps at the pace, there's a good fight for you.
It's very, very possible, yeah, that we'll see a fight develop at the end of the race. There's only 17 minutes to go, and laps are 2 minutes, so it's gonna be close.
I think Diego's getting quite a bit there in that lap, just use the back marker, but like I keep on saying there's 30 minutes left, there's 50 minutes left, there's 20 minutes left, but that time is going down, and if he doesn't close down the gap at some point, he's not gonna be able to get past him. So there are 70 minutes left, but he still has to. He can't sit back and relax at this point. 70 minutes isn't the longest time in a Bathurst race, that's for sure.
Yeah, 17 minutes is not a lot of time, but you only need 2 seconds to make a mistake, and proving it yet again.
God damn it, Charlie.
Right, back to the race again.
Yeah, we'll just don't mention it.
It just don't know what happened there. Just
What's happened there is he's pulled over and let a driver through.
Oh, that's very kind. What a good man.
Yeah, what a lovely man.
Got good at presenting, we learned recently, didn't we?
It's a very strong presenter. Nah.
A bit of a fun in Jackbox last night, and he's a very funny guy.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he did come last in all the games, but yeah.
It's not
But not that
bad.
But
Diego
not
now
that
passes Sammy Cal with 7 is the gap.
I wonder if he lost too much time there. I mean, I would look at the delta, but there's about 3 pixels on my screen, so I have to ask you for the delta.
It says about 2.8, so I think he's lost a little bit.
He lost, I think, 5 tenths like that, but that's what Harry lost as well. I think on the previous laps. Overall, it's kind of balanced itself out.
Yeah, it's fair.
Like, yeah,
It's equally unfair.
Diego's probably a bit annoyed. He's like, he's lost 5 tenths to a back ban, but he has to also bear in mind that Harry has done the exact same thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Either way, it might fuel him. He might. Sometimes driving in anger is a good thing, and I wonder if Diego can channel the anger and pick up the pace a bit. There's another back marker as well.
So that will be Daniel Nyarkas, who was fighting Sami Calvert for the position. Sorry, who I believe is 4th place in the class, but comfortably ahead for now.
I think Harry's not gonna have a good time because I think he's gonna catch him up on the mountain here if if he's unlucky. But he might just get lucky and just catch him just at the end of the straight.
Gap to Diego is now 2.2 seconds, so Diego making big gains here on the mountain.
Yeah, Diego, like when we were watching when Diego was actually behind Harry in that, Diego looked actually quite slow in the mountain and very quick on the straights, but now it looks kind of the opposite. Harry looks a bit slow on the mountain and a bit quick on the straights by the looks of it.
Well, it's going to be massively held up by the driver ahead of him.
Yeah. That is a bit of a major held up as he goes. He sort of just nips on the inside and basically tells him, "Let me through." That doesn't seem to be behind it, does it? It's not like the happiest car to be through, and now I think Diego will be hoping that he gets some nice treatment here.
Diego's now under 2 seconds away from Harry.
1-6.
That was a big gain for Diego, and Harry will not be happy with how the blue flags were handled there. But,
yeah, I mean, it's fair enough. It's within the rules. I think it has to be theirs.
Yeah, for one, but also like letting someone through down Skyline is just asking for problems.
Yeah. Like, there's a reason a lot of series do have a blue flag rule there. You can't overtake there. Anyway, Harry won't be very happy, and hopefully for as a viewer, hopefully he lets Diego through quite quickly, and we have a nice race on our hands.
Yes, and well, I think there's gonna be a moment of truth here, because as Harry makes it past the back markers, has a little bit of space ahead of him until the number 5 car. I keep pressing the wrong people. Yeah, we have Diego here on this straight. He actually overtakes all of them. So that is a straight up fight, and the only car ahead now, that is the leader.
Yeah,
so
that's
13 minutes. It's gonna be a fight for it.
Yeah, Harry at this point has been probably made aware of this, and is now under pressure. I mean, Harry's not one for being under pressure normally. He's normally just 20 seconds ahead of everyone.
Yeah, Deck, if you are listening, get ready to defend the blue flags rule again, because I feel like you might have someone complain about it again. But that's just the way it is, and luck of the draw here is for Diego, and he's got about 12 minutes to benefit from it.
And yeah, and if you're out to complain, cry about it. Nah. Yeah,
no,
Diego. No, wait, no. Cry about it in silence. There you go. I think that's a better idea.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Diego, within a second now, actually, we'll be getting a nice toe down the straight now at this point. There's another back marker. I'm sure Harry's already suffering PTSD flashbacks from the other back markers. But yeah, we don't have a race in our hands, and I wonder if we might have a controversial ending again, like Brands Hatch.
And Niels Janssen is the next car ahead of them, leader of AM-Class. I don't think he'll pose a threat to them. I think he'll literally just let them go, because there's no reason not to.
The thing is, Diego's now in a lucky area where he can just kind of fall. Like, if someone lets Harry through, they don't want to let Diego through with him. So Harry's the only person who will lose out on blue flags here, I think. Like, because like it's not like it was beforehand where Harry gets past them, Diego has to get past him. Diego will just follow Harry through. So at this point, blue flags is just a lose-lose for Harry, really. It's either he gets past nicely and Diego does, or he gets held up.
But there is also he gets past nicely and Diego gets absolutely mugged. But that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, but I think that's hard to do because there's a second gap now. Like, if you're a back marker and you don't want to let Harry through, and then at that point you're not going to like slot into the 1 second gap, it's just awkward. Like, if you don't want to let Harry through, you don't want to let Diego through at the same time. That's just how it works because the gap's been quite small at this point.
Yeah, that is a good point. And I assume that by the time, if Harry Spears loses out, then Diego's going to be right up his ass. And there's not even a gap to fit your car in between.
Yep. It's gonna be a good entertaining race. I'm excited for it. And Diego will get revenge from the mistake he clearly made on his outlap. He led a good half this race. Well, Harry led the first 2 laps of the race. Then Diego got ahead of him, has led half the race. Now Frubo has led half the race. So I think Diego maybe reverses the beginning of the race and now takes the lead at the end.
Yes, and here we have another case against the blue flags rules. Oh, but Diego, getting very close
Oh,
there.
I was
Late
just
on the
back of him.
brakes, a bit too late. Not taking the racing line, and I think it has a poor exit as a result. But that's going to be a straight-up fight.
Yeah, and there's decent gap to the back marker, and the next gap back marker is Deck in it.
Yeah, Deck and
Next
Donut.
back marker's Deck, yeah, and Donut there. Good mile up the road at this point. I don't think they'll be catching them really. If they do, I imagine Deck's gonna be out the way quickly anyway. So
Very possible.
at this point, it's a straight fight. Bear in mind, the Mercedes is now in the slipstream, and the Bentley isn't the quickest on straight line. So I would say at this point, Diego kind of has the upper hand. If I was put, I'm not a better man, but if I was to bet, I would say I put my money on Diego right now.
Well, we can make Twitch chat into a betting man by starting a prediction here. But let me use my Twitch skills here. Start a prediction. Will win. The question mark behind it. Let's say Diego. Let's say give me a fucking moment. I've lost my mouse. Hang on, guys. I can do this. I can do this.
That's why I don't keep your mouse in a cage.
For the really brave, there's also someone else. But about 1 minute to vote. Start your prediction.
No one else? No. Good.
Now we've got Diego very close behind, and if well, what Ryan is saying is kind of true, that he is better in a straight line, and the straights are very long. But is it gonna be enough? Because Frubo is good. Frubo is really good. Well, of course, being Harry Spears ahead in that Bentley, he is very good at the Mercedes. He knows what the Mercedes is capable of, and he's an equally capable driver in a Bentley. So I'm not sure. I think he'll be all right.
I've lobbed 6,000 channel points on Diego to win, so you better do a good job. Or won't be happy with him.
Have to kind of go. Currently, I think both people have said Diego that have done a prediction.
Oh, I think. Yeah, Diego's dropped off a little bit here, and now it's kind of the reverse of what we saw earlier in the race. Where do you make the overtake? There's obviously the mountain, but if you can't get a good, it's very hard to follow through the mountain. So it's mainly just trying to force Harry into a mistake at this point, but Harry is a very good driver, and I don't think he's gonna be pressured into a mistake really. So it's gonna be down to Diego to make the move, and I think that might be a struggle for him.
It's gonna be 4 more laps to make it happen, and that's a long time to hold someone off.
Yeah, he's
looking on the inside, but not much there.
Yeah, he's trying to panic Harry here, but Harry's
Good luck with that.
yeah, Harry's experienced. He knows what he's doing. He probably hasn't even looked in the mirrors yet. Gee, it's a good save by Diego, but that's cost him a lot of time here.
Diego almost doing a bottle job. Not what you want to do.
I think he has practically bowled it though. That gap's well over a second, I think now. And Diego will not be a happy man.
Well, the gap is about 1.4 seconds according to race control estimate. Yeah, that will not be good for him.
That was a costly mistake. It's an easy mistake to have actually. I'm surprised we haven't seen that mistake more often. Because I mean, you're moving under braking there. Like, you try to straight it as much as possible, but you are turning left very sharply actually, just into the braking zone. It's very easy, especially if you apply the brakes in the wrong area, or you just get a bit of understeer or something like that. It's very easy to lock the rears up, and at that point, you're gonna struggle to keep out the walls. Diego's done a good job to keep out the walls there, but he's lost sort of time in the process. I think at this point
Yes.
Harry can breathe a bit of a sigh of relief there.
Very unfortunate, but still good for your prediction there. Then Harry got a decent gap behind him now, and also a decent gap ahead of him to the next back marker, who is Deck, who has decent enough pace. With only 3 laps to go for these two drivers, gonna be a difficult one for Diego.
Yeah, I don't believe it's. Is it 5 minutes plus 1 lap? I don't believe it is, isn't it?
It's not +1 lap, no.
Yeah, good. Yeah, so Diego, not long left overall. But
That's a
some
very
bits.
accurate description of it. He's got to hurry up.
Yeah, yeah. If he wants to finish first, he's gonna have to get a move on. Stop being so slow. We do have fastest lap, so he will get the 3 points unless Harry magics up like 5 tenths like that per lap.
I'll be impressed, but don't think the tyres would be up for it.
Yeah,
The gap
again
is
though, Diego makes a mistake again, and I think that's it. Diego's pushed the car too hard. I think the grip's gone the rears, and at this point, I think Frubo's should win. At this point, I think.
Yeah, he will have the advantage. Still 2.5 laps left, of course. Plenty of places to make mistakes in Bathurst, but Frubo is not normally the guy to do it.
Yeah,
Let's see what happens.
I mean, he does have history of crashing at Bathurst. It does have to be said. So you know, if he wouldn't mind crashing, because I want my channel points back, that would be great.
Got bad news for you, son. A little bit unlikely there, but as it stands, Harry doing a pretty good job.
There is a Lambo.
No.
There is another back marker in the way, actually. There's 2.
Oh yeah,
actually.
there is. That
He should
he's
get
going
past
so
Lambo.
slow that he's
Yeah.
literally already behind him.
Yep.
More likely to hold up Diego than Harry at this point.
Yep.
And Diego is currently 6 seconds back, so I'm not sure what happened to him. He's lost a lot of time.
Yeah, just a bit washed, isn't he? Really?
You said it properly.
Nah, he's had a very good race, and I mean, you can't do like 20 good perfect laps just consistently. It's very hard to do. I mean, he's the only driver I've seen who's actually managed to close the gap on Harry Spears. So
Yeah, it's been a very, very impressive run from him. Unfortunately,
he might not get the result he wants, but he can be proud of the job he's done.
and we get to reporting from Steve that the Diego, in his chase of Harry after the couple of small mistakes, did indeed hit the wall over the mountain and probably suffering from a little bit of damage. If you're able to catch up to Harry, very impressive, but doing it with damage is nearly impossible. I think he's got quite a lot of damage because the gap is already 12 seconds.
Yeah, that's not healthy, Bentley. At this point, he's just going to be driving around, just trying to. He's just going to be secure. He's secure in second at this point. He's not pushing the car. He knows he's out the contention for first at this point, and now it's just about consolidating second place and not having another crash, really.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. Harry has to deal with a deck ahead of him. He has to make no mistakes, have no issues with back markers, with any walls or any spins, any slides, and it will be completely alright. Pushing is completely optional at this point for him. Up and down the grid, we don't have any battles going on right now. Close gap is Niels Janssen behind Daniel Nyakas, but that's not even for class. Niels is going to win that little race between the two of them.
Yep, and his nearest championship leader is still in the pit. And I hope he comes out the pit soon, because otherwise I don't think he gets rewarded points for finishing if he just doesn't get the checker's flag at some point.
No, I don't think you do. No, I think that's just a DNF.
If you DNFs, then I think Janssen wins the
Janssen
championship.
takes the championship, correct?
Yep, and Voya as well. He's got the championship too. So
yes, Voya just has to finish.
The AM class and the AM and Silver class, both championships wrapped up.
Yeah, absolutely, but keep in mind that the Pro Championship is anything but wrapped up.
Exactly.
Norbert Tamas currently on the mountain. He's in the lead of the championship, nowhere near the lead of the race, and We'll lose points to Diego. Still got a decent gap to him. But there is still pressure for him to perform next race. And let's hope he doesn't stick it into a wall in the last lap. Harry
Yeah.
Spears goes up the mountain again for the last time.
Realistically, for both Diego's championship and Charlie's championship, Charlie needed to stay in 4th position, but then they decided just crashing for some reason. I don't know, you got a bit bored. So yeah, that's not really helped Diego because obviously if Charlie did keep on track, Thomas would be finishing P5 right now, and the gap would be even closer. But as it stands, Diego's closer gap, and I imagine if he wins next race and Thomas does come P3, he should win the championship.
It's very possible, and I think what you said is exactly correct with in terms of the maths. You see Deck just letting Harry by. I'm giving you that's actually Charlie. He's just letting him by so he doesn't have to do another lap around this godforsaken mountain. As Harry goes across the chicane for the last time, it is another win for him. That is the what is it? That's the second win only. He's finished second both other races that he has finished. Maybe not fighting for the championship so much as he is fighting for wins, and that is another one behind the name. Harry Spears, P1 at Bathurst. And unfortunately, Diego has to accept a P2 finish. Not exactly what he wanted, but that is what he got, as we do have a yellow flag. Pietrotta is in the wall, going up the mountain.
And that is that's a very broken car. Luckily, it's the end of the race. He can bring it home, and he's good.
Yeah. But yeah, see Diego taking home the P2 finish. You got Matteo Schmidt. Excellent race from him. P3
has
overall.
To be my driver of the day.
Yeah,
winner
of Silver Class.
Very impressive drive.
Commanding race from him. It's hard to pick a driver for today because Harry Spears and Diego have both shown what they are capable of. Niels Janssen has also done an excellent job today. And yeah, they've got Matteo Schmidt leading the Silver Class. Absolutely dominant. No mistake whatsoever. And there you go. Yeah. P3 overall.
He beat Tamas, you know, a very good fast pro driver, and Andre Katz, who's I'd say had the best race yet, but he means he's still been beaten.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think another good shout for main character today, a protagonist of Silver Class all season, proven himself to be the most consistent and very strong driver overall. Vojta Pavlicek has near enough secured the Silver Championship. All it takes is for him not to disconnect in this very moment. Let's hope his internet can make one more corner as this beautiful Czech Navy car goes across the line. It is P5 overall, P2 in class today, and a P1 Silver Championship for Vojta Pavlicek. And well done to him.
He's been consistent, and this race shows why he's champion. I mean, he made 2 mistakes there and got a bit of damage. I think at one point was almost last, and he's managed to pick his way up the field and got P2 in class, beating Deck and Nyakaz. It's been a very good drive by him. He's shown why he should be champion.
Yeah, let's see if we can get an interview with him. I think good drive today from him, despite early incidents, came back quite nicely, and yeah.
Interesting. I don't think Yannick took the flag, so I wonder if he gets rewarded points for it.
I don't think he does, so we'll double check that before we declare Niels champion.
Yep.
See, I should have Vojta. I've just informed him that he has won the championship and asked him for an interview. We'll see if that comes to pass. Yeah, there we go. See all the race controls messages. But you can see how clean this race was. He's only, like, literally all Steve has done is told 2 people to calm down, and that was it. That was Diego and Harry.
Very very clean race. Like it, considering we're at Bathurst, I haven't seen any contact between any drivers. I think the only incident there was a little tap between Harry and Diego. But that's literally been it. It's been a very good race.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been great to see these drivers do what they do, and yeah, just very important for the championship today.
You
Still
had two
waiting
wrapped up.
for. Sorry.
I'll say yeah, we've had two championships. I think wrapped up, and I wonder what it's done to the manufacturers championship as well. I know it's not the most important championship for most people, it has to be said, but it's interesting to see who wins at the end of it.
Yeah,
I,
absolutely. It's definitely
I think it's one for the BMWs on that race, definitely. The Porsches have had a bit of a struggle with hitting walls for the most part.
Yeah, Porsche was very close, but today is definitely more of a BMW party. And of course, we are missing Joris today, and his teammate Oscar is also here today. So those are two very strong Porsches. Not getting points for the
Yep.
brand. We'll quickly switch scene. Try to. Stop the film, it's already over. Try to get Voita for an interview. Hope we can get him. Otherwise, we could probably ask Harry how he experienced the race. Oh no, he doesn't have a microphone.
No. I would say get Diego in here, but I think we might get showered at, so.
We might get shouted at.
Yeah.
Niels?
Jansen? Yeah, I'll say get Jansen in here. He'll be happy.
Oh, I think we've got a message. Yeah, okay, so got an interview with both of them. I will. Okay, give me a moment. I don't see a Voita yet anywhere, so I'll pull in Niels first. Move him. Casting. And I will also move Voita to broadcasting. Alright, thank you very much both for joining. First we'll go to Niels. Niels, you have won this race, and the jury's still out on it, but we believe you may have also won the championship today. How do you feel?
Oh, I didn't even know that. Yeah, thank you. It was such a hard race, but not because of battles, because of keeping the car out of the wall. But I got it right, and I didn't even touch one wall during the whole race. So it was quite alone driving, but didn't take any risk and kept my head down.
Keeping it out of the walls is 90% of the challenge at Bathurst,
Yes.
but
Yes.
you managed it to perfection, and it looked quite secure of a win. You said you didn't hit any wall, but you were still fighting it. What was the most difficult part of that race?
Yeah, the first few laps was difficult to get into the tunnel, mostly because of traffic and the nervousness. I watched on my smartwatch during the first two laps, and I had a pulse of 160, so I was quite nervous. But that got down after a few laps, and I was always struggling on the mountain because the BMW doesn't really want to turn, and yeah, the two corners on the mountain where you go quite fast, and you really only have one line to follow. Yeah, it was really close sometimes with hitting the wall or getting in the gravel. So I would say this was the most difficult thing to manage through the race, because sometimes you are not really watching out, and then it happened already. So yeah.
Mistakes are very easily made, and we saw it. We saw Charlie make a couple of mistakes. Dex spun it around. I believe Tamas also had a bit of a crash. So it's so easily done. You've managed to keep it clean today, which is I think in the minority there today. But more importantly, it appears, and we haven't quite confirmed this. We will confirm this with Deck later, because Yannick appeared to not have finished. But we'll ask him how that sits with the points. And assuming you won the championship, I believe that's your second BCSS championship you've got there.
Yeah, don't know how it happened. I really thought after the first race of this season, I really thought, no, it's not gonna happen again. But then I got better and better, and everyone else got worse somehow. Don't know, but there were really fast guys in the M class, especially Yannick and Bogdan Ruzu. They were the most difficult contenders during the season, and I am really glad to have beaten them again. To get my second championship win, and also the last win on the BMW, because we will probably be changing the car after the season.
Well, you still got a race to go in Silverstone, so you can still win that one. Say BMW goodbye that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you for joining us for another season and being a good supporter for another race, of course. There's still a race to go in the season, so we don't have to say goodbye to you yet. But yeah, it's been really good, and congratulations with the championship.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
See you in
provisionally.
Thank you. See you in 2 weeks.
Yes, we'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye. And then we've got Vojta. And Vojta, for you, we can absolutely confirm that you have indeed won the Silver Class Championship. How do you feel?
I mean, it feels amazing. Today was a bit rough, but yeah. Well, I think that maybe I had it the last time already, because the lead was massive, but yeah. Feels really good. I definitely wasn't expecting that in the Honda for Silver Championship. But I believe that if Matteo would be there from the very beginning in silver, I think that I would have it very, very tough.
Matteo was
he's super
very
fast
good today. Yeah, he was extremely fast up there with some of the pro drivers, but had a very scuffed start to the season as a result. Has fallen behind in points quite a bit. Mikal had not as great of a race today either. The gap was massive, but it was less than 100 points, which is what you would have needed to have secured it last race. But after this race, all you had to do was finish, and well, there you go. So yeah, congratulations on your silver championship win. It's the first silver class we've had in BCSS, and you've done and won it. And this race itself, talk us through it, because it appeared you were struggling at the start, made a bit of a mistake and had to recover.
Yeah, it was, well, at the start it was very funny with Matteo and Andre behind me, because whenever I tried to go for something, Andre just would slot in, so we had few very close situations, but then Andre went over me, and I just did a mistake that I was following him too close on the back straight, and the car just completely washed away. So I was able to like catch it in the very first second, but then I probably just tapped the brakes a bit and it just went away anyway. So I ended up in the wall with like 20 seconds of damage. So I thought that I'll try to stay up if the car is drivable, which it was. So I stayed up and just went for the pit stop whenever I know that I can make it to the finish. And that was it, and then I just did the consistency. I didn't touch the wall anymore, and that was it.
Yeah, it seemed to work out well all the way from, I believe it was P5 in class to P2, and quite comfortably so, but Matteo still getting the measure of you in terms of absolute speed. Been a very good race from you, from him as well. And the next race is Silverstone. Are you excited for that one?
No, I really don't like Silverstone, so that's gonna be a nightmare in the end for me. But, well, we will see. I'm not sure how the Honda is performing there, so I guess I will just see.
Will be an experience for next time. Thank you very much for joining us, and congratulations with the championship win. Have a beer on that.
Thank you very much. Have a good one.
And thank you to Ryan for joining me with commentary. Been amazing having you here as a support, and excellent job overall.
Yeah, it's been fun. Good race. Had a few incidents, a few laughs with Donut having a few collisions. Yeah, it's been a good race overall, and hope we can do it again sometime.
Absolutely. I believe you will be helping with commentary, I believe, on the next series that we're doing.
Yeah, if that's the plan. Obviously, not confirmed or anything like that yet, but
Yeah, we've got to
yeah, talk to
got to
Techno that first.
we will the plan is to cast it. I think we've already got Philip as the main broadcaster and looking into who can back him up on that. There will be a what is it? A hybrid between a team championship and a single driver championship.
Should be an interesting series.
Yeah,
one-
I believe it's 6 races, 4 sprint races where drivers drive alone, and then 2 endurance races where they drive with their teammate. I believe it's. I don't know how long the endurance races will be, but I believe sprint races are a lot shorter than BCSS. But that is going to start much after the next round, which we'll first have, I believe, in 2 weeks, Silverstone.
Should be an interesting race. So we'll say obviously a fast track. Obviously, we still have the Pro Championship to decide. Obviously, Am and Silver for most parts just for a bit of fun. But I'd imagine at the top, Tamas, Diego. I would say Charlie, but he crashed. Yeah, there should be close between the two of them, and I imagine we'd have a good close race there, and I hope we have a good race for the championship.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you have been watching, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the race. If you did, don't forget to follow if you haven't already. It should be like the little heart at the bottom and helps us a lot. You'll be notified next race in 2 weeks. And I should also choose the outcome of the prediction that we did. Harry won the race, so say goodbye to your channel points. All right. Thank you very much, and goodbye. Have a good night.